Better do something, boy, don't do nothing. Better do something, boy, don't do nothing. Better do something, boy, don't do nothing. Better do something, boy, don't do nothing.
It's today the 16th.
I think today is it's the 16th, yeah.
All right.
So, you want to lead us off?
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Pennant podcast. It is Friday, September 16th in beautiful, historic, scenic Ottawa, Ontario.
Yes, O-Town.
And I'm Alex. I'm here, as always, with Peter.
Yes, I'm Peter. Hi. And yeah, I guess let's just get right off to it. If you saw, unless you've been literally living under a rock with no internet access and no ability to communicate, you probably know that last Thursday, I think, was it September the 8th, I believe? Yeah, it was September the 8th. The Queen Elizabeth II died, and this past week has been a week of mourning, a 10-day mourning period. Her funeral service will be on Monday, September the 19th at 6 a.m. Ottawa Eastern Standard Time, which is roughly 11 a.m. UK time, I guess.
Yep.
Give
Yeah,
or
it's
take.
+5.
Yeah. So the world has kind of been in a state of mourning. There have been ceremonies, processions. They brought her coffin from Balmoral Castle to the legislature, not the legislature, but a cathedral in Scotland where she's lying in state there. And then they brought her back to London, and the procession has just been crazy. Like, after this video, just look up on YouTube, like, videos of, like, the fucking funeral procession. People have been waiting for hours. When the line first started on, like, I think it was Wednesday or something, it was, like, 2.8 miles long from, like, Westminster Church all the way down, like, the Thames to the London Bridge, and, like, it's crazy. Like, if you look at the satellite footage, people waiting for, like, 13 hours, because 24 hours a day, they have people filing in and out, you know, people flying in from, like, out of the country just to walk by her coffin, so it's a lot. So in Canada, meanwhile, a debate began over whether or not to declare Monday a holiday. So Trudeau federally has declared Monday, September 19th, a federal holiday. But a lot of the provinces, most of them, have said they won't follow suit. So Ontario and Quebec have both said they'll not have a public holiday, but Ontario will have a day of mourning. And basically, Doug Ford got a lot of, I guess he got hate from both the anti-monarchists and the pro-monarchists, right? Because the monarchists want a day off for the Queen, and the anti-monarchists just want a day off from work.
Yeah. But you know, his core constituency,
business.
Theoretically, yeah, small business.
Yeah, the business association was saying, like, it would cost the economy billions of dollars.
Well, we've already lost so much time already this year to other stuff.
Exactly,
TM.
Yeah.
So another public holiday at this point is probably not justified. You can see the argument, but
yeah,
I mean, it is at the same time
you can make the
our
argument
sovereign
reverse.
of 70 years
Yes.
passing away.
People saying, oh, are we going to do this for every monarch that dies? And I'm like, where have you been for the past 70 years?
So, okay, I'm going to interject here quickly.
Yeah.
I saw an article that purported to list who was invited to the funeral and who wasn't, right?
Yes.
And most state
World
leaders are invited, including
Biden,
Bolsonaro.
Trudeau, yeah.
Although, you know, Putin obviously not there.
Well, Putin, I don't know if Putin was invited, but Moscow, the Kremlin said that he is not going. They're going to send a delegate or something.
I don't think that the British government is going to allow this delegate in, personally.
Wait, really?
I could be wrong. We need to fact check this,
Yeah,
I
we can
guess.
fact check
But
this
I
in real
believe
time.
the British government was just like, yeah, no. Which makes sense because, I mean, Liz Truss is, I mean, she definitely has, you know, the Ukrainian flag on her shield, so to speak. Mm-hmm. The UK government has been pretty clear about which side of this conflict they're on.
So I Googled it. Articles coming up, the Moscow Times. Russia decries immoral Queen Elizabeth II funeral snub.
Yeah, there you go.
Britain's snub of Russia for Queen's funeral deeply immoral. So
yeah. So from the perspective of Russia as a historically great European empire, it is a
Yeah.
real snub, and it's kind of insulting when you consider, like, you know, Nicholas II and Queen Victoria and
they're
everyone,
literally
they were like related.
Yeah.
But obviously, given the current climate, it probably makes sense to exclude Russia, and especially given the FSB's track record poisoning people in the UK,
Yeah.
which they've done many times. Probably best just...
I'll read a bit of what this statement says. Russia's foreign ministry condemned London for what it called a deeply immoral use of a national tragedy for geopolitical goals amid the lowest point in Russian-British relations since the Cold War. In a statement published on its website, the foreign ministry accused Britain of making divisive statements in furtherance of its opportunistic aim. The ministry invoked the memory of World War II, praising Queen Elizabeth II for serving in the British Army, while accusing the British elites of siding with what Moscow refers to as Ukrainian 1930s and 40s German soldiers.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, a political party of that period.
Yes.
Yes. We can call them Banderites. I don't think the YouTube algorithm is going to get offended about that.
Yeah.
Russia is decrying Banderaism as they do.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever. That is what it is, and it's not necessarily completely without reason.
Do you think politically, would it be, if you're the prime minister, if you're Liz Truss, would it be worth the political fallout to include the Russians, even if that is the right thing to do?
No. The safe thing to do is not include the Russians. And I say this one as someone who honestly is still to this day pro-dialogue. You know, people could probably accuse me, if anything, of being a little bit dovish on the whole Eastern European issue.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this as like a Russophobic hardliner or anything, but like I think the easy decision here and the obvious decision, the safe decision, is for Liz Truss to shut the door.
Yeah.
The surprise for me is that, you know, Bolsonaro and so on are invited. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be. I'm just saying I'm surprised.
Bolsonaro, he went off. He did like 3 days of national mourning for the Queen.
That's intense for Brazil.
And they have
That's
no
more than us.
colonial relationship whatsoever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Anyway.
No, he did I forget exactly the details of his statement, but it was a very affectionate statement for the Queen, you know? So, yeah, they're in Britain, the UK's good graces.
But suffice to say, I bring up this article about who's invited and who's not, because for me, they buried the headline, which was, this is the first state funeral in 60 years.
Yes.
So that's what, Churchill?
Yes. Churchill was the last one.
The Queen Mother did not get a state funeral.
No.
Baroness Thatcher did not get a state funeral.
Prince Philip didn't get one.
Prince Philip didn't get a state funeral.
No.
Princess Margaret did not get a state funeral.
Yeah.
Lady Di did not get a state funeral.
No.
Jack Layton got a state funeral.
Yeah.
He wasn't even PM. So why is Canada having more state funerals than the UK? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Why has it been 60 years, and why have senior members of the royal family, including the Duke of Edinburgh, the Queen Mother, did not have a state funeral? Like, what's going on?
I'm going to risk looking ridiculous here, but I'm putting on these earbuds.
Yeah, it's chilly.
It's actually chilly. Cold. Okay, I've got gloves on. Don't make fun of me, okay? But we're sitting in the middle of a field, so there's not much wind cover, but this is Canada.
It was actually warm and nice earlier today.
Yeah.
Like, I was a little hot in long pants and a t-shirt, and at this point I'm layered up. We're in the shade. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So yeah, the invite list was interesting. There's a lot to go over, so forgive me for lack of professionalism from looking down at my phone, but there's a debate over the public holiday. Yeah, I wanted to mention that because it's like, I don't know, like, what do you think about the public holiday thing? Because I think since the event that has happened in the past couple of years, kids have missed so much school, people have missed so much work. Why not one day for the Queen? It only happens once every fucking 70 years.
Well, I will say this. My mom kept me home from kindergarten to watch Pierre Elliott Trudeau's funeral. So I got to see Castro and JT on TV. And I was always very grateful for that.
Obama's inauguration.
There you go.
Yeah.
And honestly, I skipped school to watch the royal wedding, so.
Yeah. I think these kids should, I guess there's a debate, right? Because I was having this conversation with my mother, and she was like, you know, there's this argument that, like, we shouldn't have like Remembrance Day off or Truth and Reconciliation Day off, because these days kids should be in school so that they could reflect versus staying at home and playing video
Fortnite,
games, which is what most of them are going to do. You know what I mean? So
or
I could
scrolling TikTok or whatever.
So I could see that argument, I guess, but I don't know. I like the idea of a national holiday where even if you're not physically sitting in front of the TV to watch the funeral, even a day to reflect with your own family, like Family Day. It's the one thing that McGinty did that I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, you know what the secret sauce of Family Day is? Valentine's Day is not a public holiday. So February had nothing.
Damn, okay. Whereas September this year, if we did get a holiday for the Queen, it would have been the third one after Labor Day and before the Truth and Reconciliation Day. So, yeah. So, I could see both sides. Obviously, as like, you know, the royal correspondent on this channel, I'm in favor of it. But, you know, I guess it is what it is.
The fiscally conservative argument, though, which is also kind of the lockdown skeptical argument, you might say. As you said, it's the kids have already missed so many days of school. Businesses have already been shut down so many days this year. Do we really need another day? But the thing is, because it's only a federal holiday, it's actually only
federal workers
or paid by the taxpayer who get the day off. So the taxpayer goes to work and the rent collector does not.
Yeah, that's the irony.
So the optics there are classic Liberal Party.
Yes. Basically, they gave a day off to themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Who did the majority
good
of
job,
servants
guys.
Vote for?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Bingo, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus the people who actually own and run these businesses that cater to them.
Yeah, pay their salaries. Yeah. Also, this is tangentially related, and I do not mean to derail the royal talk, but I recently saw released figures apparently that indicate that 86 to 90% of the jobs created in 2020, 2021 were public sector.
Oh, really?
So we're creating 9 public sector jobs for every 1 private sector job.
Yeah.
And now we're giving the public sector guys a day off that no one in the private sector is getting.
Yeah.
That looks kind of bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And again, I say this as someone who under normal circumstances would be sympathetic to the idea of having the day of the funeral off so people can watch it and reflect with their families and stuff. But I just think because of the current climate, it's not the call, personally.
So it should have been everyone or no one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I get that. So then also there is the Stephen Lecce thing. And I got to pull up this article because it's just, I sent you some like screenshots of it, I think. And like literally it's just, I don't know what this school was thinking. So basically the Minister of Education in Ontario, Stephen, how do you use
Lecce.
Lecce, that's how they pronounce it?
We said it like 6 different ways on the last time.
Basically, public school teachers in York region are being told to avoid by the school board any memorials to tributes to Queen Elizabeth II in their classrooms because the subject is thought to be very triggering, and the Ford government wants the policy scrapped immediately. They sent a memo to their schools in that region instructing on staff on how to handle student inquiries, and it said that the schools should remain neutral environments and that discussions surrounding the Queen's death are not encouraged because it can remind students of personal losses they may have experienced. Also, so they request that school staff refrain from developing tributes or activities to memorialize the death of the Queen, as well as displaying objects associated with the Queen. And they say that the death is triggering, you know, because of colonialism and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of bullshit.
If hypothetically, and God forbid, but hypothetically, if JT were to drop dead of natural causes tomorrow, would we be having the same conversation?
No, 100% not.
And yet, who has had a more direct influence on the history and policy of this country?
Yeah, at least not people in the media or its teachers would be having this conversation. So anyways, the education minister, Stephen Lecce, ordered the school board to overturn the policy and honor the Queen on the date of your funeral. We have made clear our direction that all schools are to recognize the profound impact of Queen Elizabeth II's lifelong and unwavering devotion to public service. So basically, he went full base trad.
Yep. He went full Tory with a capital T.
Yes. He's directed this board to implement the province's expectation, honor the Queen on the date of her funeral, and enrich the students with a strong understanding of the values and enduring legacy of Canada's constitutional democracy. So what do you think about this right-wing, this far-right turn from our formerly limp-wristed education minister who a year ago couldn't even keep schools open?
Who was trying to ditch his portfolio.
Because he was so pussy-whipped by the fucking teachers union.
He was so terrified of the teachers unions carpet bombing his riding.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to get the hell out of there, but he held the course.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think we picked up fairly early on that there's definitely seems to be a little bit of running for leader here.
Yeah,
Lecce definitely seems like he's establishing himself as a future leadership candidate, as a respectably center-right Tory. Like, I wouldn't necessarily call him true blue, but
trad.
I definitely wouldn't call Aaron O'Toole true blue, even though Aaron O'Toole would. So it's all relative, but it's about as true blue as you're allowed to be in the modern PC party without getting kicked out.
Yeah, imagine
in Ontario.
telling teachers to do your job is like a conservative trad right-wing position.
Well, is even honoring the head of state like a conservative trad thing? I guess it kind of is, but like, again, that gets into the whole question of, you know, should we have a state at all, and blah blah blah. And the issue is like,
well, that's the thing. It's the one time when I've seen conservatives applaud Justin Trudeau for any statement he made.
Yeah,
which is when he made his statement on the Queen passing.
Yeah, I was very kind to him.
Like, it's the one time that both sides, both the NDP, the Libs, and Conservatives, all gathered in Parliament yesterday to basically be like, yeah, you know, long live the Queen, and then the Bloc kind of, you know, walked out. But you know what I mean? It's like the mainstream non-separatist fringe parties. It's the one time where they're all on the same page, and it's weird. People aren't used to this. Yeah. So then when stories like the school board comes up, it's like, yes, we found something, you know what I mean?
We found a little wedge.
Or that woman who got into it with Bezos talking about, you know,
yes,
I wish she had a painful death or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, those people in particular can't stand any sort of societal cohesion or unity. At the mere whiff of any sort of social cohesion, they have to be like, well, actually, those are the well, actually society. We can't have anything. Yeah. Those are the people who, you know, when 9/11 happened, they'd be like, well, actually, this many people die in Africa every year, I do say. You know what I mean? Like,
which, I mean, like, fair, true.
Because I've seen people make those comments during 9/11 tributes where they're like, well, more people died in Iraq than whatever. And, like, good point, but the whole thing is about timing, which people don't understand. Time and place. Like, I'm not saying you can't make jokes, you can't protest, but, like, I don't know, man. I'm old school sometimes. Have you heard the verse? There's a song from the Birds. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to reap, a time to sow. You know, there's a time to mourn. Yeah. And it's like, can't you hold your hot takes for like a week? For 10 days. Yeah. Can't you put a moratorium? And I'm not a censorious person. I'm not saying that you should be banned off of social media for any hot takes, because I'm against that as well. But like, out of the goodness of your own heart, can't we mourn the Queen for 10 fucking days? Yeah. Without making it,
and you know, you don't have to do it actively if it makes you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But, you know, maybe just don't dab on people.
Can't we mourn
just for now? You know
what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. What do you think about this Lecce thing? Like,
I mean, he's positioning himself to run for leader, and we're early on it.
Yes. We're
honestly,
gonna do next episode. We keep on saying this. I think next episode we will do the definitive Ontario Tory leadership power ranking, similar to the Liberal one that we have on the website.
That's right. The Liberal one that I might have to redo if Christina Freeland indeed runs for the Secretary General of NATO.
Wait, that's her real name?
Yeah, her name is Christina Alexandra.
Oh, damn.
And Christia is just a nickname.
Interesting. It's almost
Yep.
like she made it sound more ethnic sounding.
Yeah,
She pulled a Barry Obama.
yeah. Or a little Irish Joe Biden riding around on his magic shillelagh.
So, as we digress, so more stuff on the Queen, just to wrap it up. There was just some minor stuff, like, not minor, because this is her life, but you know what I mean. There's a story that came out that, her final days were full of fun, that she spent time with now King Charles and Camilla, and her family member. She was laughing, enjoying life. So this idea that she was actively deteriorating, like, I'm sure there's a lot of things that they aren't telling us, but at least there's some solace to know that, like, it was like she was comfortable. She was in a place where, she was at peace and one with the world, it seems like. It was just a regular kind of everyday holiday in Scotland kind of thing, Also, Prince William is going to inherit Balmoral and Sandringham estates, valued at over $1 billion. And he's going to earn a $25 million yearly salary as the Prince of Wales. I feel like I haven't seen too much.
Why is he inheriting Balmoral?
I guess the Queen willed it. The Queen willed it to him.
Is that a Charles snub?
Maybe Charles didn't want it. I don't know.
Why would you not want Balmoral?
I know Balmoral is.
If I could have one piece of royal property, it would be Balmoral.
They have like weed strains named after.
They do.
Yeah. So that's true. I don't know. Maybe he did. I think maybe Charles, because he has other estates too. And like he was saying, I don't know about Balmoral, but like there's speculation that he might not even move into Buckingham Palace because his current home, I forget what it's called, but he has a home, like an estate in town inside London that's easier to. I don't know if it's not in London, but it's in like the center of the country where it's easy to get to.
Right.
Commute to
Royal
different places.
Engagements.
Yeah. So Buckingham Palace might just be an office and not a residence. It would be like the Langevin block or whatever.
Yeah. It's like a ministry of the royalty.
Yeah.
Or the ministry of the monarchy rather than the home of the monarch.
Yeah.
It would be like, I don't know, if the Governor General decided to conduct their business out of some nice home in Rockcliffe or something instead of Rideau Hall.
Yeah. So maybe he doesn't want to just sit in the castle. He definitely seems like a more metropolitan.
Well, he's not the first. I believe Edward VIII also did not want to live in Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
And, back then that was seen as much like the whole Wallace thing.
Yeah.
Like he's going too far with revolutionizing the role of the monarchy thing.
Yeah. Like, I don't think anyone...
But now it's not controversial.
I don't even think the Queen liked Buckingham Palace in particular. Like,
no.
You know what I mean? It seems like a very kind of stuffy kind of place. She was more at home in the countryside.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like,
yeah.
Literally, I was watching these different streams and they were showing pictures of, like, the Queen. And, like, there's so many pictures of her in, like, plaid and tartan. And those big boots that they call like wellies, and you know what I mean?
No, my favorite like Queen outfits were her like hunting outfits.
She has her hair tied up, or like horse riding.
And she's got the trench coat. And,
you know what I mean? Like she literally was like a country kind of wife, but she was the Queen, like. So it makes sense that Buckingham Palace is not kind of the vibe.
No, and it does seem like, not homey.
Yeah.
So it definitely seems like, and it's never really yours either.
Yeah.
Because it's just something that you're holding on to for a little while as sort of a historical trust.
Yeah.
So I can see why people are more comfortable elsewhere. But it's interesting that what was once controversial, like again, so Edward VIII, right? Obviously we have all of the other European stuff, but I'm not going to get into that right now.
Yeah.
So he married a divorcee, and he wanted to conduct his business outside of the palace. Charles is now doing both of those things.
Two divorcees married to each other.
That's right. Yeah. He is a divorcee.
And Camilla too.
Yeah.
Queen Camilla.
And he's the head of the Church of England. And he's conducting his business outside of Buckingham Palace, and nobody's brought it up. Nobody really cares.
Yeah.
With Edward, by my understanding, that was seen as a huge red flag, break with tradition. So it's interesting how much changes in less than a century. And they knew each other. They had a relationship, so it's not even like it was that long ago.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last thing on the Queen thing that I have is, well, I guess the William thing I also wanted to see. I didn't really see this take. I've seen like general takes about, you know, inequality kind of thing. I don't know. I guess the headline, does it feel right in 2022 to read a headline like Prince William will inherit these two estates valued over $1 billion and then a $25 million salary, like from like a class consciousness perspective in present day?
But again, do you want to be Prince William? Because I don't.
That's the thing.
I'm happy being a broke nobody.
Yeah.
Compared to being Prince William, it's a lot less work, and
For sure.
I spend a lot less time doing things that I don't want to do.
People think it's just castles and booze and like
playing polo.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of that, but like it's also they're working.
Yeah, there's
Like-
also, dreadful social engagements that you can't get out of, speeches that are written for you rather than by you.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be an individual or express opinions. You're
yeah.
supposed to be an empty vessel.
Yeah.
With which people project their patriotism onto.
That's why Harry and Meghan makes it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And they're still getting their money.
They're making probably more money
Oh,
outside.
yeah.
Like I was hearing things about, if Harry and Meghan want to be welcomed back in the fold, they could. There is the path back, but I'm like, why would they ever take that in a million years when they're making so much more?
Yeah.
Outside
Exactly.
the family.
It's like the whole Trump thing, right? Why would
Yeah.
you want to be president when you're a billionaire?
Exactly.
Well, because it's not about the money.
Exactly.
It's about the prestige and wanting to be at the top of that institution, whereas Harry and Meghan seem to be happy as long as they're in the press.
Oprah's neighborhood.
Yeah.
Besties of Oprah and Gail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't blame them, So yeah, I get that. And I guess the last thing was, oh yeah, the right to protest. Should it be suspended during the morning period? So pretty much, UK police have cracked down on anti-monarchist protesters for breach of peace. And I put in our show notes, where was this? Firstly, is it right? So my two questions, right? Because there's different incidences. One person brought eggs but didn't actually throw them. But I guess they caught him before he could throw the eggs when the Queen's coffin was passing. Another person yelled, Prince Andrew, you're a sick old man, right?
Honestly, that guy should get a knighthood for that.
Yeah, no, that was good. But he got arrested for breaching the peace and charged. So firstly, do people have a right to protest during this 10-day mourning period? And where was this energy for the BLM Antifa rioters? Because that should happen in the UK too. And
Yeah,
I know for a fact
definitely happened in the
police
UK too.
probably looked the other way like they did on this
Oh yeah,
continent.
very much so. The
Yeah.
British police got woke pretty early as far as police forces go.
Yeah.
By and large, not everywhere and not on everything, but
Yeah.
by and large.
So
Okay, there was one other case. This guy, I think he was a barrister or something, and he was arrested for holding a blank piece of paper.
really?
The notion being that he could have written something unkind on the sheet of paper, causing a breach of the peace.
What? Firstly, what the fuck is breach of the peace? Breach of the peace is like
It's an excuse to
mischief.
detain someone
It
temporarily.
literally is Tamara Lidge to be arrested for mischief.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Exactly.
Like,
It's a
fake
contrived charge that
Yes.
gives flexibility to people. Sometimes it's a good thing to have something like that on the books because you just want to end a disturbance that
Yeah.
technically isn't illegal but is bothering a bunch of people and
But it's
there's no
being
benefit
abused
and
by
blah,
these
blah.
governments.
But it's abused. Just like any time you give any institution power,
Yes.
it's going to be abused to some extent unless it's constantly checked from
that's the
multiple
reason.
angles. And
So-
even then.
So that's the point here, is they have these ridiculous powers that they conveniently choose when and when not to exercise, and it's never exercised equally based on the politics of whoever is. The politics of the moment,
Yeah.
the present day, whatever is acceptable in the present day.
But I mean, this is also a country that will confiscate screwdrivers, scissors, and nail clippers from people as deadly weapons.
That's another thing. They don't have free speech in the UK.
And, you know, will
ban
make
Tyler,
people
the Creator.
pay a surcharge to watch the BBC every year, after which they could potentially face legal repercussions if they don't pay their television license. Like, I know that's a meme, but like, it's a real thing.
Or ban the Tyler, the Creator from even coming to the country.
Wait, they banned Tyler, the Creator?
Yeah, because of his misogynistic lyrics.
Tyler, the Creator?
Yes.
Have they not listened to grime?
Well, they've banned grime artists too.
Oh no, that's true.
They'll arrest you literally for posting a music video.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So
actually,
UK is
you're right.
dystopian.
You're right.
It
Well,
literally
I mean,
is a George Orwell novel.
They shut down UK Garage in like the early 2000s, largely like it was like an authorities like moral panic crackdown kind of thing.
Yeah. And
then Garage got replaced by all of these genres that were like harder and more aggressive and more gang affiliated and stuff. Like Garage is not gang music. It's
That's
like
true. That's weird.
chill music for like mixed gender parties.
Yeah.
And that was apparently too bad for the British establishment.
And I don't know if this passed, but didn't Theresa May want to do this thing where you needed to like submit your ID to watch porn?
Oh yeah, no, they've been talking about that in the UK for like at least a decade. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess they're no stranger to censorship, so maybe this is consistent. But in terms of like kind of the wokeification of the UK, they didn't have this energy for more kind of left-wing kind of causes.
For cracking down, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. If there's going to be a rule, whether that rule is just or not, that's one thing. But at least apply it equally to everybody. That's the whole point of the law. Or at least pretend to. Yeah.
At least make the effort to pretend that impartiality is a virtue rather than a vice.
Yeah. And like, I don't even really agree with, I don't think someone, like, with the extent that I would go is detain them and then let them go. Catch and release.
I mean, that's probably pretty much what they did with these guys.
But they charged them, they said.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But I wouldn't charge them.
But,
at the same time,
how energized is the government to pursue those charges to the fullest extent of the law?
They'll probably be dismissed or whatever.
Yeah.
Or plea bargain, whatever. But I'm just conflicted because on one hand, I'm really against arresting people for protesting, clearly. But on the other hand, I'm like, did you have to pick the Queen's funeral?
Yeah, and I'm a little bit unclear about Eggs Guy. Maybe I should do my research here.
Also, a cop got stabbed today.
Oh, in the UK? Yeah, I think I saw something about that.
Yesterday.
Yeah, but it's the UK. People get stabbed every day.
Well, true. Or it's two cops.
Not to make light of anything, and it is a big country, but
it's just the fact that there's this security operation. That's another thing we should talk about.
Okay, yeah. So you're gonna have like 135 world leaders in one room.
Yes.
No wonder they're not inviting Vladimir Putin. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
That's a good point.
Yeah, this is the fattest soft target in history. Well, it's not a soft target. It's a very hard target.
Yeah.
With international collaboration.
Yes.
But anyway.
I wonder what goes into. I know there's videos about what goes into that, but what do you think? This is like some like next level Five Eyes. It might be against Five Eyes, like or above Five.
They're making all of the leaders take carriages provided by the UK government, except Biden, who gets to ride in the Beast.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah, that makes
you know, just reminding everyone that Britain exists at the best of America.
So Biden's the only one
not culturally, but
who could take his personal car.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a hell of a elevation there for you know.
And the Secret Service must be like.
Oh, I'm sure the Secret Service is probably working overtime covering other world leaders as well.
Yeah, they've probably taken a big lead on this.
The Secret Service probably has a full headquarters in London right now.
100%, yes.
And the CIA.
Because when was the last time, the only thing I could think of, the last big event with this many world leaders in one spot, other than like a UN meeting, was like Mandela's funeral. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a security operation this large. And this might be, I think this is bigger than Mandela's funeral.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah.
So,
because you have so many countries that will feel obligated to send their head of state as a sign of respect for another head of state.
Yeah. I just want to look at the Queen's funeral guest list. Because I actually haven't seen it. Other than, like, I obviously know that Trudeau's going. Oh, yeah, the Canadian delegation, too, I want to talk about.
Oh, right. Okay.
So do you know who's on it?
No, I actually don't.
So basically, it's obviously Trudeau and the Governor General, Mary Simon. You have David Johnston,
Yep.
former Governor General, and former Governor General Michael Jean. You have...
What about Clarkson? She's still around, right?
Clarkson's going to the Ottawa ceremony.
Oh, okay.
So they're having a ceremony at a cathedral in Ottawa. So Adrian Clarkson and Mulrooney will be going to that.
Brian?
Yes.
Okay.
Brian Mulrooney. I think Chrétien...
You want to go?
Is Chrétien going to Ottawa? Depends on the timing. Because I'm getting up at like 5 a.m. to watch the funeral.
Okay, yeah.
I think the Ottawa ceremony is going to be at like 11?
Okay. Anyway,
And it's
we'll play it by
invite
ear.
only.
Right.
But we could go watch the parade.
We could check it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm down, yeah.
Anyway.
We'll figure it. This is like post-show kind of shit. But hold on a second. Let me find the actual delegation. I'm sorry. We should have like... this is like pre-show stuff. Canada, Queen, funeral... I can't spell. Delegation. Our production. Okay, yes. Prime Minister announces the delegation.
Okay, so Mary Simon,
Yes.
Mr. Whit Fraser.
I guess that's her husband.
Oh, okay.
Mary Simon's husband. Sophie Trudeau. Oh, Sophie. I forgot he has a
wow.
wife. He's
Yeah.
married? Trudeau's married. Did you know he was married?
No, they've been trying to kind of retcon Sophie out of the whole story for the past year or two. Remember how heavily they leaned on her at the beginning?
Yes. She was like our Michelle Obama.
She was.
And then she sang, what was it? Like Amazing Grace at Dr. Martin Luther King's ceremony.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so bad.
And it's been downhill since then.
Honestly, though, I feel terribly bad for that woman.
No, it was
Maybe
genuine.
I shouldn't, but I really do. No, not for that one incident.
Oh, you mean
I
for
mean
being
for the
married
whole
to
whole
Justin.
package. You know.
She got a raw deal, I guess. And then you have Michael Jean, David Johnston. Oh yeah, and then you have former Prime Ministers Kim Campbell, Mrs. Summer Vacation Prime Minister Kim Campbell gets to see the Queen's funeral. Jean Chrétien, the guy who beat her in the election, Paul Martin, and Stephen Harper.
That's a pretty good lineup.
That actually is a list of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So I think it's Joe Clark and Mulrooney and Adrian Clarkson who are going to be at the Ottawa one. They've decided not to go. And then they will be joined by Assembly of First Nations National Chief Roseanne Archibald, President of Inuit Tapiriit Kanatami Nathan Obed. I apologize for butchering that name. And President of the Métis National Council Cassidy Caron, as well as the Clerk of the Privy Council and Secretary to the Cabinet and former High Commissioner for Canada. What the fuck? This is a long-ass title. Former High Commissioner for Canada, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Janice Charest.
Not to be confused with Jean Charest.
Yeah. And current High Commissioner for Canada to United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Ralph Goodale.
He's the High Commissioner? Interesting. And then members of the Mounted Police. Yeah, we're also sending members of the Mounted Police and the Armed Forces to participate. Canadian regiments, da-da-da-da. Oh my goodness, Mark Tewksbury? That name sounds familiar.
That does sound really familiar.
He's a
Sandra
swimmer.
Oh.
Oh, it's this guy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're sending Sandra Oh.
Wow.
Grey's Anatomy is going.
Wow.
Cross-
And Leslie Arthur Palmer, Cross of Valor recipient. Interesting.
Man, this is big, man. How did they get this many people? I thought it was just like one per country.
Well, I mean, at least she was our sovereign.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess it's no different than having like Bojo and Theresa May and David Cameron and Tony Blair all standing in a line together.
Because I guess I remember Biden making a point to say the White House put out a statement saying that he wouldn't bring a big delegation. It was just going to be him. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. So maybe for countries that she actually was head of state as.
Is Obama not making it over? He has to.
That's a good question.
Or Bush even?
Let me see the guest list. Let's see. No, I don't want to subscribe to Town and Country. actually, if I did subscribe to a magazine, it would be Town.
And Country.
I can't even lie. Town and Country is my aesthetic, for real. Let's see now. UK leaders. Oh, he's going to be hosting so King Charles will host heads of state and official overseas guests at Buckingham Palace on Sunday night, the night before the funeral. So that's another thing. Another aspect is this will be their first introduction pretty much the world Illuminati. Will be his Illuminati.
This is his debutante ball, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's a really good point.
It really
well, I mean, it's not his introduction to the Illuminati, but I see your point.
You know what I mean? As king.
Oh,
There's a lot of behind the scenes kind of. The real funeral is on Sunday.
Oh, even just the
You know what I mean?
conversations and the policies and the politicking and the diplomacy that's going to be taking on behind the scenes that has nothing to do with the Queen passing away.
To be a fly on the wall, man, fuck.
Oh, it would be unbelievable. Again, this is why you got to keep Putin away.
Yeah, that's true. So this is like a backdoor NATO meeting?
Yeah, 100% it's a NATO meeting. No, it's a...
Plus Bolsonaro.
Ukraino meeting.
Yeah. I wonder if she is going. That's a good point. Okay, let me see. Liz Truss, obviously.
Oh, and Zelensky's wife is coming, by the way.
Not Zelensky. Well, yeah. Zelensky is not, right?
No, he's, anyway.
He's standing in front of a green screen somewhere.
Yeah, on the moon.
He's needed on set.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you need a scene too?
Oh my god, this might be the sloppiest episode we've done so far, but you know what? I'm having fun. This is great. No regrets.
Obviously, you have the leaders of the different UK parties. US President Joe Biden will attend with Jill. Not all former presidents will attend, but there's speculation that Barack and Michelle Obama may receive private invites. Commonwealth leaders. We've got Prime Minister Anthony Albanese of Australia.
Yeah, he's the new guy after Scott Morrison. Labour.
He's conservative?
No, he's Labour.
Oh, okay. Governor General David Hurley of Australia. Your favorite person in the world. You know
Jacinda Ardern.
Yeah. This is the Jacinda Ardern fan club right here, guys.
Oh, no.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness of Jamaica. Jamaica's interesting because they're getting ready to basically yeet the monarchy. This is the guy, this is the Giga Chad who told Prince William to his face that, yeah, we're going to be moving past the monarchy.
Well, no, this is breaking up in person instead of over text, you know? Like, he's going in person to the Queen's funeral. Yeah.
Big dick energy to Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Governor General Patrick Allen of Jamaica. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of Bangladesh. These are Commonwealth? Okay, yeah. Prime Minister James Marup of Papua New Guinea. Governor General Bob Dade of Papua New Guinea. President Cyril
Ramaphosa
of South Africa. This is the guy who's the guy before?
I've already forgotten his name. Jacob Zuma.
Yeah. I didn't even realize he was out.
Yeah, it's funny. You used to, like, the last year or so of Zuma, you used to hear about him all the time.
Yeah.
And about how he was running things into the ground, etc. And then Ramaphosa took power, and then you just stopped hearing about South Africa.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then President Ranil Wickremesinghe of Sri Lanka. I butchered it.
The Sinhalese have some of the most phonetically difficult names for Westerners on the planet. They're up there.
We love our Sri Lankan brothers.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and our Tamil brothers. Too.
Yes, but Sri Lanka's interesting because they're in the middle of like a revolution.
Oh my god!
I don't even know which president this is.
Oh
is this
my god!
How many presidents have there been in the past like few months?
I think just these two.
Just these two.
I think, but don't quote me on that. We should have Devin on.
We really should.
Sri Lanka expert.
Yeah. President Paula May Weeks of Trinidad and Tobago. President Drupadi Murmu of India. And then we have other world leaders. Tayo Sich, similar to Prime Minister, Michael Martin of Ireland. They have an interesting title. Is that supposed to be in whatever language they speak in Ireland?
Yeah.
Interesting. President Michael D. Higgins of Ireland. You should know you have Irish heritage, don't you, or no?
Yeah, I do. A little bit. Mostly Scottish heritage. But, you know, I've got the whole Canadian muttbag experience.
President Emmanuel Macron of France. President Alexander van der Bellen of Austria. President Frank-Walter Steinmeier of Germany. President Sergio Mattarella of Italy. President Isaac Herzog of Israel. President Jair Bolsonaro. Jair Bolsonaro.
Jair, I believe. Jair Bolsonaro.
the president of Finland, President Haig Geingob of
The
Namibia.
president of Finland, but not the prime minister of Finland, just so we're all clear.
Yeah.
But then again, okay. That was partially a jab at Santa's expense, but it's also partially because presidents are heads of state.
Oh, I forgot Finland was the party.
Yeah.
Party prime minister.
Party animal, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Spring
Santa
Breakers.
Marin, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Yo, Spring Breakers is
But
a low-key
Finland.
good movie.
Yeah. It felt like a fucking
I enjoyed it.
acid trip kind of dream movie. Fever dream. I need to rewatch it. The president of Namibia, President Yoon Suk Yeol of South Korea, Yoon Suk Yeol of South Korea, President Katalin Novak of Hungary, President Eglis Levits of Latvia, President Andrzej Duda of Poland, President Gitanas Nausėda of Lithuania, President Erdogan of Turkey.
Hang on. Who's coming from Hungary? Oh, Katalin Novak. Okay.
The European is Hungary the one with
They're trying to cancel Hungary right now. I mean, they try to cancel Hungary every 30 seconds, but the European Union just declared Hungary an authoritarian democracy.
Who's the leader of Hungary? Who's the prime minister?
Viktor Orban.
Oh, okay, that's where Orban's from.
Yeah.
I can never know which. I just know people name drop him, and I have no idea which country.
Yeah, he's just a bad Eastern European dude. He's like the
yeah.
villain in a James Bond movie, Viktor Orban.
He's like reverse. What's that dude's name? That right wingers hate.
Dude that right wingers hate.
You know,
I'm sorry, I'm going through the whole list in my head right now.
He sponsors a bunch of like.
Jorge Sorosio.
Yes, George Soros. Can you say George Soros on YouTube?
No, you can't.
Oh well. Forgive me, Susan Wojcicki. Susan, we trust. The European Commission. Let me start this again. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, European Council President Charles Michel, other attenders, holders of the Victoria Cross or George Cross will be able to attend, as well as nearly 200 people recognized at the Queen's birthday honours in June. The birthday honours recipients drawn from across the UK recognized for their extraordinary contributions in areas including the response to the thing that has happened for the past 2 years. I wonder if people will know what we're talking. They must know.
Oh, of course they know. The question is, in 20 years, if somebody listens to this just to get a primary source from the time or whatever, and they keep hearing all of these references to these 2 years where all this stuff happened, hopefully they can put 2 and 2 together.
Because at this point, I don't really care about the censorship thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the seal's already been broken, so at this point, it's like, whatever.
But the meme of dancing around it.
It's kind of funny, right?
Yeah, I like that bit.
Although we've also been seeing a little bit of mask off here and there. And I mean that in the future sense, not in the literal sense, but also in the literal sense, I guess. But anyway, we could get into the African COVID experience later. But I'm derailing here.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much the end of the list from Town and Country magazine.
Okay, great. Thank you to Town and Country for that cutting edge journalism.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the guest list. I think we covered everything to do with the Queen that I have on here. So yeah, I guess any final thoughts on this whole morning experience? Have you been paying attention to it at all?
Yes and no.
Or more from like a distance?
From a distance.
Yeah.
As I told you, I rewatched The Crown.
Oh yes.
So that's been my morning period, and that show
we got to
holds
review
up.
when the next season comes out. We got to review.
I'm just gonna wax poetic about The Crown for like a minute here before we go on.
Yeah.
So like, I love Claire Foy as the Queen. She is, beautiful and distant and elegant and regal. But Olivia Colman, man, that's a queen.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
That show is so freaking good. I'm sorry, I can't do it justice. It's visually beautiful.
Yes.
The writing is excellent. It's extremely well acted. And it's a great just historical period piece as well, even if you don't give a hoot about the monarchy, but you just want a crash course on British history from like 1940 to 1990. It's a pretty damn good place to start.
It's insane how good it is. Like, I've seen it twice. I rewatched it last year before the last season came out. Oh no, it was 2 years ago now. Yeah, because end of 2020 was when the season 4 came out, the Diana season.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm considering watching it a third time because it's just that good. And I was a huge monarchy fan or stan before The Crown. So when they announced it, I was like, it can't possibly be that good. And I just thought it was going to be one of those like historical
I thought that
miniseries
too.
that you watch and you forget about, but no, like it is that good. Better than Game of Thrones for me in terms of that prestige TV category, and the fact that like every season gets better than the last one.
Oh my God, man.
And this next season coming up is literally like, it's the Annus Horribilis. Windsor Castle.
Oh my
down,
God, 92.
Diana, the car crash. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it starts. Yeah.
Wait.
Because last season was the 80s. This is going to be the 90s.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because each season is like a decade. The first was like the 50s/60s. The second was like the 70s.
Yeah.
Wait a second. No, first.
The first season was like the 40s, 50s, backstory stuff, etc.
Early 60s.
Early 60s.
Second was 60s, 70s.
And then you have, the 70s. You have the Libertine Margaret phase.
And then the fourth season is the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you have Diana.
Maggie Thatcher.
And Maggie Thatcher.
What'd you think about Thatcher?
Okay, I have mixed feelings about
Gillian
the Thatcher.
Anderson.
I think...
She won an Emmy for that, I think.
I wouldn't have given her the Emmy. But...
or she was nominated, at least. It's very controversial.
When I first saw the show, I thought that Thatcher was the worst casting decision in the entire show. I did not think... Like, she looked good, but the voice was too, like, dramatic and breathy, and it was too much of, like, a carnival impression kind of thing, whereas, I felt like they were a lot more respectful to Harry Wilson.
Yeah.
They camped up the Thatcher way too much. But now, going back, watching it again...
Well, look at Churchill.
Maybe it's just that I'm prepared for the camp. Yeah, but Churchill was a campy guy.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. But so was Thatcher to a degree.
To a degree, yeah, you're right. She had her kind of theatrical moments and so on, but I feel like they overdid her just a little bit, made her just a little bit too neurotic, just a little bit too breathy. But I don't mean to impugn Gillian Anderson, because it was overall a good performance.
Yeah. So, yay or nay on
on like
her Thatcher. Where do you fall?
It's good, but it's still one of the lesser casting moments of the show. But I still like the Thatcher storyline and what they did with it. Like, I'm not saying that it's a bad series of episodes or anything. It's good. But it's, the Johnson episode, like, I'm going to compare Margaret Thatcher to Lyndon B. Johnson, because the Johnson they got, he's like just a little bit too young, I think, compared to real Johnson at the time.
Yeah.
But he has the energy, so you look past it. The other thing too about Thatcher is they kind of just gave you like 1989 Thatcher in 1979. Well, so they gave you late Thatcher for like all of Thatcher's reign.
Yeah.
So like, it would be like giving someone in the JT biopic, you give them 2022 February JT with no context to like 2014, 2015 Sunny Ways and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I should probably stop talking about casting decisions on the phone.
Yeah. Back to real life. Yeah, I guess, we'll see what how the funeral is. I'm looking forward to it. Like, it's rare that I'm getting up at 5 a.m. for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I'm hardcore like that. And there should be a Queen kind of memorial piece coming out on the website somewhat soon. It's
episode 3, I think will definitely, if you haven't seen it already, will definitely scratch that itch for a lot of people.
Go back and watch that. Also, like and subscribe to the video. I keep on forgetting the beginning of the video.
Okay, calls to action. Here we go. Okay, so this is where we have to be the same scummy YouTubers.
Yes.
The same social media slumlords that we all resent. But please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Pennant Inc. Pennant.inc is the website. INK. Am I missing any of our obligatory calls to action here?
And leave a comment.
Yes, please comment. Let us know. And the thing is, people say that because they want the algorithm boost. I'll be straight up. We want the algorithm boost.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because we got nothing here. We're starting from the bottom. But even more than that, I actually kind of want a focus group for our content. And it would be cool if, people gave us our opinions, even if it's just something like, Alex went on about the crown for too long or something like that.
Or like
that's still
topic
useful feedback.
suggestions, or
Like anything that you write to us, will be at the back of our minds in some form or another. So please do reach out. And again, if you disagree with anything that we say, write a piece for the website. We'll post it.
So, the next segment, we're at about 53 minutes.
Okay.
So, the second hour, we're going into the conservative leadership race, because that
Oh,
happened.
right. Yeah.
Pierre Poilievre becomes leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition.
That's right.
So, I guess kicking off from Pierre's first week as leader, the night of the election debate, you were at a fashion show, and I was live tweeting you the results. What do you think about just the results? 68% of the points. He swept like every riding. He won every riding.
70.7% of the votes. Basically 71% of the vote.
The popular vote?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
You know who so I broke this down a little bit. I wrote an article for the site. It's called something along the lines of, so Pierre Poilievre is now the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah.
But I break down the numbers a little bit because there's some interesting stuff there. So I'm giving these all off the top of my head. So I apologize if I get anything slightly wrong, but I think I have the numbers down. So popular vote-wise, because the Conservative Party, they have a point system. It's geographically weighted.
Yeah.
It's 338 ridings. It's not a popular vote, but we still use popular vote as an indication of overall support, right?
Yeah.
So Poilievre got 70.7. Charest got 11.6. Okay?
11.6.
11.6
of the popular vote.
Leslyn Lewis, 11.1.
Damn.
She was 0.5% behind Jean Charest in the
insane.
vote. However, she lost the points 16-9.
Yeah.
So the point system, obviously,
It's electoral college.
it boosted Charest's numbers by
Yes.
50%, literally.
That's why the point system
and
exists.
it suppressed Lewis's numbers by about 16, 17, 18%.
It's to boost the centrist candidates. And if anything, Pierre benefited from that too, because he was the centrist candidate.
Kind of, but it still hurt his numbers. If it was just a pure popular vote election, he would have won
that's true.
even more, 2%
so
more.
So boosted, maybe not centrist, but mainstream.
It very slightly scratched
Like
Poilievre.
Mainstream.
It hurt Lewis a decent amount, and it benefited Poilievre extremely.
Like if you're not a French candidate, a French candidate, like, no, I wouldn't call him French. I'm just saying for argument's sake. If you're a not mainstream candidate like Lewis or Baber or even Aitchison, like the point system is made to screw you over.
Oh yeah, big time. Aitchison got screwed. He got 1.03%.
Yeah.
And
like,
Baber got 5%. He broke 5%.
You need some clout in the party to have the name recognition to have enough points in every single riding across the country, right?
Yeah.
Like it's made to keep the institution within the hands of a select few of people.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. It's directed democracy.
Yeah, exact. Definitely not direct democracy.
But directed.
Yeah.
There's a guiding hand just kind of nudging things along.
The invisible hand, maybe.
Yeah, not always.
Yeah.
Okay, so Baber got 5%, Aitchison got 1%. I was really happy to see that because I was worried that Baber would be at like 1, 2, maybe 3%.
Yeah, 5 is good.
5 is respectable. It's what the PPC got in the last federal election.
Yeah,
so good for Baber.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dr. Lewis, for running a great campaign. Just wrong race.
Yeah. And I guess I got to eat my words because the
yes
one of the
and no,
articles
though.
I put out before it was Leslyn Lewis could actually win.
But you said could actually win.
Yeah.
And the case you outlined was actually very good.
Yeah.
The fact that she didn't win doesn't mean that your argument was false. And we still acknowledged the whole time that Poilievre was probably going to win.
Yeah.
So you don't, anyway, I'm defending you preemptively here.
Thank you.
But
Appreciate it. I take my L's graciously, So I guess you weren't surprised that he took it on the first round as handedly as he did.
I was a little bit surprised.
Just the I thought we were going to be in like the 50%
like 55,
range.
60,
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
68 to 71? Jesus Christ. That's the blowout of the century. That's like Germany 7-1 against Brazil in the World Cup
What
level.
was the whole media narrative that they're still running to this day, that Pierre Poilievre can't appeal?
Oh yeah, he can't appeal to mainstream Canadians. Like,
Literally
okay.
wins every riding in Quebec.
Can
except
Jean
for
Charest
6.
appeal to mainstream Canadians?
Not
Really.
not.
So the Charest people have this argument that Charest polls better with
Yes.
Canadians as a whole than Poilievre.
And they've been putting out these suppression polls on the daily through the entirety of their leadership race. The god-awfully wrongly...
of dubious quality, I might add.
saying that, this poll shows that, most Canadians prefer Charest, or this poll shows that most Canadians will be uncomfortable with a leader who openly supported the convoy. You know what I mean? Like, suppression poll after suppression poll, and it didn't do jack
But if you look
shit.
at the raw numbers, like if you just look at Leger, okay?
Yeah.
Charest would have needed all of Brown's support to beat Poilievre with a general electorate.
Yeah.
Poilievre was still beating Charest quite handily by like at least 5 points
Yeah.
in a general a general poll.
Yeah.
And that's assuming zero support from like Lewis, Baber supporters, etc. So that's
say that again.
So Brown plus Charest
Oh yes.
like tie Poilievre with a general electorate.
Yeah.
That's no Lewis, no Baber,
Yeah.
no HC.
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
Yeah.
So that to me suggests that Charest is not actually that much more popular than Poilievre with the general electorate if he can't even win with the general electorate. Now the other thing, Charest polls better with Liberal members. That is true. If you're a member of the Liberal Party, you responded more favorably to Jean Charest when you were polled than you responded to Pierre Poilievre.
But how many people who are not even members of the Liberal Party, let's just say they vaguely identify as liberal or left of center, how many of these people would actually vote for Pierre Poilievre when it came to that in a general election? I say the percentage is not more than, I'm not even saying like in the middle people who are undecided. I'm saying people who actually identify as liberals.
How many of those people would even vote for Jean Charest, even though he's a red Tory and he's going to basically give them a lot of what they want? They're not going to vote for him because he has a C in front of his name.
Yes. Literally, that's the whole point.
Anyone but conservative, ABC. That is the predominant political culture in huge swaths of this country. And it doesn't matter how red a Tory you are never really going to change these people's minds.
And I like that you've brought up Patty B, because there's this hilarious article.
Founding member of the Pennant, Patrick Brown.
Pretty much, yeah.
In spirit.
There was this article that came out that said, internal Conservative Party of Canada documents show that Patrick Brown only sold 62,000 memberships, 41,000 of those being in Ontario, after he claimed to sell 150K.
Oh, I heard 175K. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's shameful.
So
Patty B takes another L.
Like,
Chalk it up, guys.
The L train just doesn't stop.
No,
man.
it really doesn't stop. Got kicked out of the race 2 months ago.
Yeah.
He's still taking L's.
Like,
You just can't stop.
meanwhile, pretty much every single one of Pierre Poilievre's memberships, I forget how many he sold, but they were verified.
312,000.
Yeah, they were verified by this article, I think. Yeah.
So I guess the next angle to talk about with the conservative stuff is backlash within the party against Poilievre. And we have a medevac helicopter ahead of us there.
Yeah.
So if you hear a little bit of noise, we apologize, but we got lapel mics, so fingers crossed. I'm interested to see how this sounds in post, actually.
Yeah, it should be, all right.
I'm sorry, where was I?
On my phone as well.
Oh, thank God, okay.
The backlash in the party.
Oh, right,
Party
okay.
of one, I guess.
So, Patrick Brown and Jean Charest, although Charest was a little bit classier about it, at least publicly, because he had Brown to play the attack dog role for him.
Yeah.
They were basically playing slash and burn, hit and run with the party. And
smash and pass.
And Patty B was saying shit like, I'll run under Lewis, I'll run under Baber. I'm not running under Poilievre, which again makes no sense because both Baber and Lewis are to the right of Pierre Poilievre. So I don't know what you're on there, Patty B. But anyway, and they're saying we just can't support this party and blah, blah, blah. So now it's actually happened. Poilievre's won. Other than Patty B, who's out? Well, Jean Charest has returned to private practice, which
he's returned to Huawei.
We called that.
I saw comments saying on his Twitter saying go back to Huawei.
That's funny.
Or was it the lady? Was it Sue Ann on the True North?
Oh, Sue Ann.
Yeah, they brought it up and she was like, go back to Huawei.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's right. I have to really pat ourselves on the backs here because at no point during this leadership race Did we ever call Jean Charest the China candidate or
Yeah,
the
we
Manchurian
didn't.
candidate? We avoided that angle completely because
really-
we're such responsible people.
Not even. I think he conducted himself in a way where it really didn't even occur to my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't make it obvious if he is the China candidate. I don't know. Not like Justin, you know what I mean? Or any
Yeah,
other
yeah. He's at
politician.
least you know what, Charest though, and I had many issues with Charest during this campaign. You can read all about it on the site, Pennant.inc. We covered
Yeah.
the conservative leadership stuff pretty extensively. But you know what? He's a smart guy. He ran a good campaign. Obviously, he was never going to win. He was friggin' delusional.
Yes.
Built to win is like
that was his slogan.
built to
Like
win.
a Chevy?
Built to get 11.6% of the popular vote, you mean?
Oh my god.
Despite being the most like well-known nationally politician probably
He's like
in the race.
The Pontiac of politicians. When was the last time you've seen someone driving a Pontiac?
Who do you know who drives a
They
Pontiac?
don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So, but still, Charest is like, you know, at the end of like hockey playoffs where they come and they shake hands.
Yeah.
I would shake.
I'd
his-
shake hands
you know
with
what I
Charest.
mean?
You know what? I disagree with you about a lot of stuff, but you know what? It was a good
Yeah.
fight. You tried. Nice
Exactly.
try. Little delusional, but
Yeah.
you know what? You spoke well. You represented yourself better than I
This isn't
suspected
like a
you
Jeb
would.
Bush situation.
It's
He did
not.
better,
he
much better
he
than
did
Jeb.
not. Yeah, you're right. But it's still a pretty big loss for
Well, yeah.
Red Tory Inc.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they're on life support.
They really are. And okay,
Speaking
sorry.
of the
So
guy
yeah.
burying the lead again.
So the notion was that there'd be some kind of caucus revolt or something among red Tories, and the Michelle Rempels of the world would get in a
Yeah.
big huff and cause all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
It seems like that's not going to happen. Alain Reyes,
Yeah, something
Reyes
like that, yeah.
is the only MP, it seems, who has decided to no longer caucus with the Conservative Party. He's now sitting as an independent, and he says that he is still committed to fighting Justin Trudeau's inflation as an independent. So he's
Yeah.
still probably going to vote with the Tories
Mm-hmm.
on most stuff.
Yeah.
So this whole red Tory revolution, if Poilievre won, never materialized. Kind of
Yeah.
like with Trump.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, and again, please don't take the headline here. Alex compares Pierre to Trump. Well, you know, no. But Trump became the president, effectively the head of the Republican Party. Everybody said, oh, all the Romney types, they're going to leave,
Yeah.
whatever. You had some retirements, Corker and Flake and stuff, but for the most part, what happened? The party at least pretended to get behind the MAGA agenda.
Yeah.
And the same thing is happening with Pierre Poilievre.
100%, because they know where their bread is buttered.
Yeah.
Literally, they have the most memberships out of any political party in Canadian history. Over 670-something thousand, right?
Yeah, I think 675.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Like, that's insane. That's more than half. That's 750,000
Yeah.
people. You know what I mean?
It's huge.
Yeah. So, like, they'd be dumb to not get on the train or GTFO like the Alan Reyes guy did. And then there was that very petty kind of thing. He said he was targeted, Alan Reyes was targeted by Tory text message campaign to get constituents to pressure him to resign. So apparently the Tory party was sending texts to constituents in his riding to pressure him to resign his seat. Because he sits as an independent now. And pretty much the CPC has disavowed this. And, you know, like, what do you think? Is there like,
We're still at the he said, she said phase at this
Yeah.
point. I haven't reviewed the evidence formally.
I have no doubt that it happened. I'm just wondering why. Was it just some lone wolf intern? Or was it like...
I just don't understand what Pierre Poilievre has to gain from making a concerted effort to like bully
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah.
It's just so unnecessary.
Yeah, it's probably some like back office kind of shit, I guess. You know, shenanigans a la fucking, what's his name? Fuck. He made a statement. The Lord of the Dark Arts.
Oh, Warren Kinsella.
Warren Kinsella tier kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely Kinsella style politics.
Speaking of Kinsella, I forget what he said, but it was some asinine shit.
Man, we should start a political party just called the Kinsella Party.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So what do you, this Reyes thing, obviously it's not, there won't be a red Tory exodus.
The news here is not that Reyes left, it's that nobody else followed him.
Yeah.
Because that's always the thing. When you have one defection, it's a lot easier to be the second defection or the third defection than it is to be the first.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to be taking the opportunity to be the second defection.
Yeah. So I guess I could go through some other stuff.
I guess Poilievre has unified the party. That's the headline here.
Exactly.
He actually has unified the party, and at least the parts of the party that are disunited with him in some ways are not raising a fuss about it, and they're just accepting that they're in the backseat right now.
Yeah, and speaking of unifying the party,
Oh
what
my
about
God.
the prospect of unifying the parties? So as soon as Pierre Poilievre won, Mad Max of the People's Party, Maxime Bernier, basically came for his neck. I saw he's been tweeting
Good.
at him.
He should. Absolutely he should.
I forget the exact tweet. For some reason I didn't link it here, but he's openly criticized him. You know what I mean? It was about the thing that happened 2 years ago.
Oh, yes. Yes,
basically
indeed.
saying that, like, Poilievre was only pro-freedom or pro-the freedom movement and when it became politically convenient.
Yep.
Which is true to a degree.
That is
I could see
completely true, and
Yeah.
a big part of the reason why I just can't get myself too excited for Poilievre.
Yeah.
Even though I know he says all the right things.
Yeah.
I know intellectually, ideologically, he would be taking this country in probably a much more coherent direction than the past government, perhaps even than the past several governments.
Yeah.
But I just can't get myself excited because it's, I don't know. There feels like the other shoe is going to drop and the disappointment is going to hit. But maybe it's just PTSD from Aaron O'Toole.
Yeah.
That could be it on my part. But Bernier's job is to hold the Conservative Party to account and keep them on the right. And don't let them shift with the Overton window.
Yeah.
So Bernier needs to be attacking Poilievre. He needs to be attacking the Conservative Party because that is his job. And that is what actually keeps the Conservative Party accountable to their right-wing base.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with this, even though I still want, obviously, Poilievre to win the next election.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want the PPC to just give up and merge with the Conservatives.
And that's the thing, everyone, even on like conservative Reddit, seems to be like, wrap it up for the PPC. If you're voting for PPC, you're dumb. You know what I mean? They're going to get completely swallowed by the Conservative Party. And
It's true.
I posted a comment. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, well, you think that's true?
Yeah, I think the PPC is going to take a hit.
Well, they're going to take a
next
hit, but I
election,
mean, they're
for
not
sure.
going to dissolve.
No, they're not going to dissolve. They're still going to be around. But the Poilievre era is not going to be kind to them.
Oh, for sure. But I think,
mathematically.
maybe not mathematically, but I feel like if Bernier plays his card right and continues to do what he's doing, he could maintain a sizable kind of niche following. All he needs is one seat. He needs to move to fucking Saskatchewan.
Fort McMurray.
Fort McMurray?
Fort McMurray.
Alberta?
Yep.
You've seen polling there?
Fort McMurray was the second strongest PPC riding after Beauce, and
How much did
obviously
they win?
he's not going to win in Beauce.
What percentage
Right
did
now.
they?
He got like 18% or something, the guy in
shit.
Fort Mac. So if you
okay.
just airdrop Bernier there,
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's hard under Poilievre. That's the issue. Because now
that's
they have
true.
their Western candidate. Even though Poilievre is an Ontario
Last
MP,
election
he's
was
still
a
a Western
chance.
boy, and everybody
I
knows
don't
it.
know why he ran in Beauce in the last election. Like 2019, I get it, but 20 fucking...
It's a pride thing. It's his family riding, and he doesn't want to give it up. Like, I get it. I get it.
I don't get it.
No,
But
like,
I get
I'm not endorsing it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I get it. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Jagmeet Singh. Jagmeet Singh didn't give a fuck. He's
Yeah.
like a Southern Ontario guy through and through, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll just run in BPC,
Burnaby,
Burnaby, whatever. So, yeah, if you're the leader of the party, you got to do what you got to do.
That's what you got to take one for the team. You know what I mean? Like, everyone is pretending to be something. Like you said last time, right? Poilievre is an Albertan pretending to be an Ontarian.
Yeah.
Krista Freeland is an
Yeah, she's an Ontarian pretending to be an Albertan, kind of.
No, I think the reverse.
Or, yeah, well, so, okay, Freeland is from Alberta, pretty sure, but culturally, she may as well be, like, born on the intersection of Bloor and Spadina, like, delivered at that intersection.
Where Poilievre is from Ontario, but culturally, he might as well be
Well,
from
he
Fort.
grew up in Alberta, but
Yeah.
he's from a Franco-Saskatchewanian family.
He was adopted.
He was adopted,
Yeah.
except anyway.
It's a lot.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. But
anyways.
Poilievre and Freeland are equal and opposite. That is our
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
One is, the Alberta transplant in Ontario and
Yeah.
vice versa.
I wonder if the lighting is gone by now. It should be. I have flashlight.
Oh, no. Sorry. The real comparison, it's Freeland and Harper.
Yes.
Because
That's
Harper
the real one.
was from Ontario
Yeah.
and then only became a Westerner after he dropped out of U of T. Whereas Freeland is like the reverse. She dropped the Westerner act and then went to U of T. Wherever it is that she went. But yeah, anyway.
So before we wrap up the Poilievre conservative topic, I also want to mention Mrs. Poilievre.
Yes, his secret weapon, Anna Poilievre.
Yeah. And I don't know, did you see any of her speeches? Like her speech on the
No,
night?
but I heard people talking about them. And the one story I heard the most about was the story about her intercepting a heckler.
Yes.
And then talking them down from the ledge, basically.
That was in during the campaign. Yeah, I saw the video of that. Yeah. She like took the lady by the hand and was just explained all the WEF conspiracy talk about Poilievre, how he was on the website, and they explained that, like, you know, he wrote an article and they reposted it basically. And no, she is politically gifted. Like, I think she's the closest thing to, fuck it, I'm going to say it, not politically or morally, but Hillary
Clinton.
Like, just her convention speech that she gave, where I've never seen a spouse introduce a husband at a political convention, firstly, in Canada, at least in recent years, and that speech actually being arguably better than the husband speech, you know what I mean? Because she's just talking about how, you know, her family's from Venezuela, and, you know, they
good anti-communist credentials.
Yeah, they left communist Venezuela for a reason, and, you know, she speaks French beautifully, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, it's just pronunciation on point. Like, it was a fantastic speech. Really talked about, like, you know, being pro-business, pro-opportunity, pro-immigration, from like a pro-business and opportunity perspective. Like, solid. She is a gift and an asset to him, and they need to continue to lean onto that. And like I was saying to you, I was texting you saying, like, it's nice, you know, would be nice to have a prime minister who actually loves his wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Not that in Canada, really. Oh, that's really bright. Does this
probably
help, do you think? What do you think?
It is pretty bright.
But
I'm just wondering if I wear my sunglasses, it's gonna like lens flare. Like,
oh shit, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just worried about like the dark, I guess. I'll try not to shine it directly in our eyes.
It's all good.
Yeah, but like, you know, pretty much it was. Not that in Canada we really care about the family values thing, like in the States, where the first lady is an actual role. In Canada, the first lady role doesn't really exist.
We tried that a little bit with Sophie.
Yeah, and
we tried to give her a first lady role, and it didn't.
Whereas Laureen Harper didn't really have one at all.
No, she was kind of like living at the Chateau Laurier apparently and stuff, you know, which makes sense, right? I mean,
yeah, it's give or take, but I could actually see them being like a traditional first family, and people want that, especially in a time of uncertainty. You know, the Queen's dead, inflation, recession, like, people want to feel like they're part of a family, you know,
and they have a beautiful young family,
kids. You know, he brought his 1-year-old son to his first caucus meeting, and they cut a birthday cake.
That's right. Cruz.
Yeah, Cruz.
Another guy from Alberta.
Yeah, Cruz Poilievre, which is a very, you know, baby Cruz. It's a very kind of double whammy kind of name. But yeah,
I just think a lion Ted, honestly.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah. So I don't know, it's interesting, you know, like, I think she has a bright political future ahead of her if she so chooses, and I really think her being very included is kind of a soft launching point for her if she wants it.
Interesting. Yeah, well, if we look at Joe Clark, his wife had a political career.
Really?
And
wait, was she elected?
She kept her maiden name. Yeah, she was.
Where? Was it Parliament?
Yeah, federally.
Really?
Yeah, she was a federal MP. I'm
MP
pretty sure.
What?
I don't know the riding off the top of my head. Okay. But well, I guess you're using your phone for light. Well, look it up.
Yeah, let me see.
I'm trying to remember her name. I've done this before,
like
too, probably on the show. Like Maureen McTeer, I think, something like that.
Yeah. Damn. And did people like that? I really don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I think reactions at the time were mixed, because you had people maybe a little bit more traditional at the time who wanted her to, you know,
it's just calling her a
first
lawyer.
Lady kind of thing.
I don't think she had a political career.
She definitely ran at least once.
She wrote journals. She's the author of 3 books. She is professor. Oh, she was not elected in her riding. Okay.
Oh, okay.
She was a candidate in Carleton, Gloucester.
Oh, there you go, right in our backyard.
Yeah, hoping to get elected alongside her husband in 1988. Okay. Yeah.
So it's happened before.
Yeah, like there's Olivia Chow and Jack Layton is probably the most famous recent.
Oh, well,
example,
that's true too, but
you know.
I mean, Olivia Chow kind of went down in flames a little bit there.
Well, she resigned and then she ran for Toronto mayor and came in like third.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know.
Not a great look.
That's the thing. There's the space for a political spouse who actually has a political career.
You really got to walk the
open.
line.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not really a thing in Canada because political spouses aren't really a thing in Canada.
yeah, that's true too. You're
But
right.
if anyone does it, it could be her. I'm putting all my money on Anna Poilievre.
So it's like the Michelle Obama running for VP fantasy.
But real.
But real.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yes.
Now, the only question is, though, they do have a young family, obviously.
Well, that's the thing. I'm saying 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years, yeah,
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah. So, definitely in the next campaign, whenever that is, she's going to be front and center. And it will make the whole Sophie and Justin thing, namely Sophie's absence from every conceivable...
Oh, it'll make it so much more conspicuous, the fact that Anna Poilievre is now more visible.
Like the fact that...
Well, is that why Sophie's going to London, you think? It's to, like, remind the public that she exists and
Definitely.
try to, like, dust her out of storage?
I wouldn't be surprised if Sophie was more front and center the next campaign, because she was completely invisible the last campaign. Literally, she came out with Trudeau to go to the Governor General's residence to dissolve Parliament on day one, and then she was gone, disappeared, vanished, missing persons inquiry, Amber Alert, until fucking the election night.
Yeah.
And even when they declared the Queen of Canada, when they proclaimed her at Rideau Hall a few days ago, she was nowhere to be found. He brought their son.
Yeah.
She was nowhere to be found. So it's like...
No, she was a first-term first lady.
Yeah, literally, she was a one-term first lady.
One-term first lady.
I can't... You know
She's
what I
like,
mean?
Justin, you have a majority, okay? Oh, minority, I'm out.
And we can't... Like, politics, yeah, it's getting a lot nastier, but it's also getting a lot more personal. And I think in this era of uncertainty, people will appreciate, you know, a strong family unit. So everyone knows the Trudeaus aren't together. Like, it's the worst-kept secret in Ottawa, you know what I mean?
But then again, there's a lot of very badly kept secrets in Ottawa that outside of Ottawa, like, nobody knows.
True.
Or like conspiracy theories that survive predominantly within the Ottawa
But this
bubble.
is one that has crossed over. Like,
but that's
that famous
one
video from Canada.
No, you're
of
absolutely
them
right.
Pretending to kiss each other, and it's just
well,
it's
there was
painful
like
to
her
watch.
snubbing him when he was like getting vaccinated or whatever, and he was trying to get her to hold her hand, and she wouldn't do it. Like,
and I hate that we're like. Part of me is like, man,
we shouldn't be covering this, frankly. Like, Trudeau could be having, like, I don't know, gay sex with Andrew Gillen while smoking meth. And, like, theoretically, we shouldn't care.
But we do, because it has implications in this show. I like to think is not just about, like, the news, but about how people perceive it.
Yeah.
It's about the narrative.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
You know, whether you like it or not, that's part of the narrative.
Yeah, and it's because they make the big show of having the intact marriage and blah, blah, blah. I think partially that makes it fair game.
Yeah.
Because you're scrutinizing something that they're intentionally and conscientiously presenting explicitly.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You're not saying, oh, I discovered that, you know, so-and-so had this, you know, whatever, affair or whatever.
Yeah, if Sophie wasn't, like, on all the magazine covers from the beginning and was more kind of hidden, like alluring.
Well, exactly,
you know
right?
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because there have been other kind of first ladies who haven't been front and center. You know, they were trying to make Sophie the next Margaret Trudeau. If they didn't do that, put that much effort into getting all this positive PR for Sophie specifically at the beginning, she was at the wee days. She was at all this shit.
Do you know who Paul Martin's married to?
Good example. I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
And that's my point. If it was a Paul Martin situation, then this wouldn't even be a story.
Yeah.
So that's their fault, honestly, you know? It sucks, it's not fair, but...
No, you're absolutely right. I'm
game.
really glad you're putting it this way because you're setting very clear rules and you're following them responsibly.
Yeah, I'm not saying anyone should attack her or anything. Like, I don't think... Ultimately, she has no power over any decisions, really, clearly, but I'm just saying from the media narrative, the meta-narrative perspective, right? it's a story, and it's a contrast that a lot of voters at their dinner tables will be making. It's the whole Hillary Clinton meme of, she couldn't control her husband, how could she run the country?
Right. Yeah. Which,
sexist or not,
yeah,
that's the narrative that's what real people talk about.
Yeah.
At the dinner table when they're talking about who they're going to vote for. Unfair, sure, but that's just a fact of life. You know what I mean?
Weirdly enough, too, it's often like the most progressive people who talk themselves into, no, we got to run a straight white guy because America's racist.
Or we got to run a black woman VP because America's racist and we want the non-racist people to rally around us.
Yeah, that too, but I'm even remembering, like, in the Obama era, people were like, I don't know, we should probably still run a white guy. And these were like leftist progressives saying
well, that's why they got Joe.
Whereas, ironically,
they need to balance the ticket.
They don't have the same sentiment in the center right because they don't have that insecurity.
Yeah.
So you can go with like I don't know, a Leslie Lewis or whatever, and you don't have to have that conversation of like, oh, is the country too racist to accept them?
Or a Latino woman.
Yeah, exactly. It's only when you're running them, I guess, as a left of center candidate that it tends to come up.
Yeah. Suddenly the racists, it's funny how the racists, love like diversity. The so-called racist party is,
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, if you want to look at, okay, so I like Soviet racism as a topic of conversation because it's interesting, right? Mm-hmm. So the Soviets were not racist in the same way that like the Nazis were racist, where they're not, master race, whatever. It was more like, we're going to use racism as a tool.
Yeah.
So stuff like forced resettlement, ethnic cleansing within the USSR was all just a tool to keep the like percentages of the population below certain points where, ethnic nationalism starts becoming a concern for the party and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're digressing yet again.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess, do you want to go into Green Party stuff?
Oh my God.
Next, no lighting, but can you summarize it, or it's a lot?
So no, that's not true. I was going to say everybody remembers, but probably nobody remembers. So the Green Party blew up recently. They went full identity politics with their last leader, Annamie Paul.
Yeah.
And it backfired in quite a spectacular way, as Annamie Paul, who is Jewish and is pro-Israel, dealt with a huge like BDS backlash within the Green Party. And essentially the Arab-Israeli conflict destroyed the Green Party, destroyed the leadership, made Annamie Paul essentially leave in disgrace. It was this whole thing. It was like total malpractice by the party to destroy themselves in that way.
Yeah.
And then they went with another very kind of identitarian interim leader, Dr. Amita Kutner, who is non-binary, I believe.
Yeah.
But so at first, I'll admit it, and this is going to sound, a bit prejudiced, whatever. I rolled my eyes a little bit when they went with Dr. Kutner at first, because I was like, oh, look, it's just they found the most token minority that they possibly could. Mm-hmm.
Like in the Asian non-binary.
Yeah. Keep going on if you want. But honestly, Dr. Amita Kutner really impressed me. They speak very well. They're obviously highly intelligent. They're much more thoughtful than I was expecting. And yet, under their interim leadership, and okay, another thing too, another point that I kind of held against Dr. Kutner was their age. They're like 29 or something.
Yeah, how
and I thought it was just absurd. Well, that too, and like astrophysics, which, is cool. You do you, but, I'm prejudiced against young people, and I say this as a young man myself. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But again, Kutner was really impressing me and was speaking very well and blah, blah, blah. And even though I obviously don't agree with them about a lot of stuff, about policy and whatnot, I was like, wow, maybe the Green Party actually made this one right.
Yeah.
But now there has been a misgendering incident, and they've blown the party up again. because it turns out the only way to blow the party up harder than relitigating the Arab-Israeli conflict within the Green Party of Canada is to have a non-binary leader be misgendered. The president of the party has resigned. They have said that the dream is dead.
Who did the misgendering? Was it just some random delegate at the meeting, or I don't even know.
This is really bad, but honestly, I don't know either. I know that there was a misgendering incident and that the president of the Green Party resigned as a result. The early articles I read about this were a bit unclear, and I think not trying to assign blame in a way that could be seen as libelous.
The party leader.
But there was a misgendering incident, and now the Green Party is disintegrating again.
And the president of the party wanted to delay the leadership race, which the old leader Elizabeth May is running as a co-leader with someone else.
So they're using this misgendering incident as an excuse to delay the party's leadership race. Let us say that again.
Due to like institutional racism and discrimination against like 2S LGBT people. Basically.
So you're not going to have a party leader? What's going on?
And they want to close the Ottawa office. So Elizabeth May and her co-leader, person whose name I forget, put out a statement saying that not the co-leader, the two MPs, Elizabeth May and the other dude who's also the MP, the two elected
I keep
MPs,
forgetting his name, but there's a guy in Kitchener.
Yeah, they threatened to walk to sit as independents if they delay the leadership race and or they close the Ottawa office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So closing the Ottawa office is a little bit more complicated because that speaks to party finances.
Yeah,
like we know how broke the NDP are.
The Greens.
The Greens are like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're like, they've got their Timmy's cup out and they're asking for toonies. Like it's bad over there. So maybe they should downsize. And I think they were saying that downsizing would be okay. They just think it would be a huge step in the wrong direction if the party abolished their physical office in Ottawa.
Yeah, and just went completely virtual or whatever, right?
Well, from a COVID perspective, that doesn't really seem responsible to me.
Yeah. And like the fact that like May is even running and they're doing this co-leader thing, and it's
yes, the co-leader thing. So there's been talk about this for years, but Elizabeth May, who is the presumptive frontrunner in the Green Party leadership race, especially since Alex Tyrrell got kicked out for being too pro-Russia.
Oh yeah.
So this whole party is a mess because you're either too pro-Russia or you're too anti-Israel or you're too anti-Palestine or
you
misgender someone, and have to pause the leadership race as a result.
Yeah.
Like it's not a serious party. And honestly, I've been a little bit kind to the Green Party on the site.
Party?
I've been not really. I've been kind of nice to them in the hopes that the Green Party would kind of get their act together and kind of be the ground floor of some kind of resurgence of left libertarianism. I would love to see a version of left-wing politics in Canada that is not just like predicated on constant state meddling and interference and regulation in our lives at all times. Unfortunately, now that the NDP has completely abdicated their role as civil liberty advocates, we don't have an anti-authoritarian left-wing political tendency in this country anymore. And I was kind of hoping that would emerge a little bit within the Green Party, but it's a dumpster fire over there.
Yeah.
Why can't they get their act together? And this is why Elizabeth May's running again. I don't even think she wants to. She's 68. She recently got married. She probably wants to retire. But who else is going to be leader and somehow do a better job than Elizabeth May?
Cult of personality. You could say that about Trudeau, even Trump, like parties that are kind of formed around a singular person. That's the downfall. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have this
succession.
Exactly. Literally succession. It's like, it becomes a succession crisis.
You got to groom the heir and you got to groom the spare just in case.
Exactly.
And the Green Party did neither.
Yeah. So, I don't know what else to say. Do you think they could weather this and exist as a party by the time?
Maybe, but the other thing too is the Liberals have leaned so heavily into woke environmentalism and
that's
stuff.
The thing. I think that's a big part of it.
Stephen Guilbeault being in cabinet and stuff, and like being a member of the Queen's or King's Privy Council, stuff like that. So I think it's hard for the Green Party to compete with that when the Liberal Party can pretend to care about the environment and also actually win.
Yeah.
when the Conservatives were in power, I think it was a little bit easier for the Green Party because they could fundraise, against the tar sands and blah, blah, blah. Whereas now that Liberals are in power, they're not allowing development anyway and resource extraction, basically. What role does the Green Party really have other than, I don't know, to talk about how Wi-Fi gives you cancer or whatever?
Wasn't there a Green? I forget. There was was it David Suzuki? Someone notable in the environmental movement endorsed a member of the NDP in BC, the NDP candidate, instead of the Green Party. And that was a huge controversy in the 2021 election.
I mean, I don't see how it's controversial, seeing as the NDP has been on this whole woke green movement from the very beginning too. The only difference is that they don't necessarily want to massacre all of the well-paid union jobs that stand in the way of the green transition, whereas the Green Party doesn't care as much about that.
Yeah.
So that's another problem. The Green Party's competing with two other parties.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that.
So what do you think? If you had a crystal ball, next election, I'm sure they'll be here, but the election after that?
Well, the other thing too is if there's a big turn away from the Trudeau Liberals, it's possible there might be a resurgence in the Green Party a little bit because disaffected Liberals will want to park their vote somewhere else, right? Kind of like Aaron O'Toole voters who then voted for the PPC because they didn't like the version of Aaron O'Toole they actually got. So I think the Green Party could potentially do okay if the Liberal Party imploded, because I think Liberal voters are actually more willing to vote Green than people realize. And the polling to an extent supports me on this. But, are they ever going to form even a minority parliament? No, not at this rate.
Yeah.
We would need, catastrophic changes to our political landscape to facilitate a future in which that may happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I got for the Greens. It's hard to even comprehend. What you want to do? There's the America topics. There's also Ottawa super PACs. I don't know.
We can skip the local stuff for now. I'll just briefly go over the U.S. stuff and then we can wrap it up.
Okay.
Unless there's anything else.
Last thing I had was Little Mermaid.
Okay, yeah, we'll save that for last. Unless you want to just power into that now and then we can...
No, let's save that for last.
Okay.
Let's do America quickly.
So I got two quick U.S. politics stories for you guys. We got Ron DeSantis and Lindsey Graham. So Ron DeSantis is shipping illegal immigrants, or undocumented workers, if you prefer, to Martha's Vineyard, which is kind of funny because Martha's Vineyard obviously is an elite island community, very kind of left-wing. The Obamas have a huge multi-million-dollar compound there.
They sent them to the home of the vice president. I guess Kamala Harris has a home there, apparently.
Yeah, I guess Kamala Harris has a home there.
Yeah.
And apparently, I saw a headline too. I didn't have enough time to look into it, but DeSantis is also now sending migrants to Delaware.
Yeah.
So he's dropping them on Obama's, Harris's, and Biden's front doorstep. And while this is obviously petty political bullying, it's also pretty funny and a decent own the libs, expose hypocrisy kind of move.
Because it's what are they gonna the most they could do is, the humanity, these people don't know where they are. If I was confused getting off of a bus, I would rather be in Martha's Vineyard than I don't know, Guadalajara.
No, exactly. Somebody made this comment on CNN.
Yeah.
And I forget who, and it's good because, honestly, the sooner that they can live this down, probably the better.
Yeah.
But they compared it to the Holocaust.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I just really don't, if Martha's Vineyard is comparable to Sobibor or Majdanek, then why do the Obamas live there? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So obviously.
And also, the report I watched, they made a point to say that they were dropped off specifically in areas where immigration volunteers or immigration workers, those advocacy groups were there to meet them. It's not like they were just dropped at a bus stop somewhere, what I mean? with some pocket change,
Yeah, I'd have to do probably a little bit more research into that, but you're right, it is it's cheaper too for DeSantis probably to just pay these people's airfare and shit, and rather than the burden to the Florida state taxpayers.
Nice, I don't know if I'd live in Delaware, but
it's a good place to live if you're the CEO of a credit card company.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have
They'll figure something out.
They won't be starving.
No,
You know what I mean?
they'll be okay.
Yeah. So
And aren't sanctuary cities supposed to be welcoming places?
literally, it's we welcome you unless
DeSantis sent you.
Yeah.
In which case, go back to Florida.
Exactly.
Or even to El Salvador.
It's just a petty. This issue is so dumb. This is the dumbest news story I've heard in a long time.
It's really dumb, but still, I'm gonna give Ron an A- on this.
Yeah.
He's playing it well. It's a funny news story. I don't totally agree with it. It's a little bit petty, but it's good to expose the hypocrisy.
It's a good publicity stunt, because pretty much his point was until you enforce the law and secure our borders, we're gonna just send these people up and you can deal with it.
Well, he said something too, until we make it your problem, you're not going to admit it's a problem.
Yeah.
And there is definitely some truth to that, as much as I wish there weren't. People who don't live in, say, southern Arizona can be very callous about the border.
Yeah. And it's not like we are pro-immigration.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a whole...
Not unconditionally, but yeah.
It's a complicated issue. And for people,
I'm pro-immigrant, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I obviously came from immigrants.
So did I, if you go back far enough.
It's a complicated issue when you get to, economics of, people flooding into an area and that area not being prepared to deal with the economic consequences of that. And I don't know, man. It's just people, we don't complain when China says, we're going to say, they literally have a Great Wall to keep people out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, come on, they built that 1,000 years ago.
But I'm saying it's a principle that's...
But yeah, sovereignty, being able to open the door and shut the door.
That shouldn't be controversial. Every country does it, but it's only wrong when America or Canada or whoever does it. I don't know. That's a whole other thing. The other story.
Right.
Lindsey Graham abortion bill.
Yeah, so Lindsey Graham is aborting the GOP's midterm prospects.
Yeah.
So after 50 years of the Republicans arguing quite staunchly that this is a state's issue.
Yeah.
And finally getting their way after 50 years, Lindsey throws that all away for a new national abortion ban after 15-week bill.
It's literally the equivalent to, I don't know, if you've seen The Dark Knight, the Joker lighting that
the money stack
pile
on fire.
And
yeah.
he's like, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
Oh, come on, Lindsey. Come on, Lindsey. So
it's not about the midterm. It's about banning abortion.
People say that they're against conspiracy theories and stuff. They're not. They just have their own set of conspiracy theories that they believe, and then they have another set of conspiracy theories that they don't believe and think are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anyone should point fingers and see conspiracies everywhere and blah, blah, blah. All I'm saying is that Lindsey Graham has consistently acted as if he were controlled opposition.
Yeah.
This is not the first time he's committed political malpractice on a grand scale. I don't personally have that much wrong with a 15-week ban relative to all abortion restrictions, because 95% of abortions take place within 15 weeks. So most people will not be affected. How many weeks was
the heartbeat bill? Is that 11, I think? It was I don't think enough where most women don't detect it, or...
I'm not 100% sure. It's less bad than a heartbeat bill. I'll put it that way.
I don't know.
However, it's really not about that. It's
not even about the bill.
It's not even that it's not a particularly restrictive piece of pro-life legislation. We'll just put that to one side.
The timing.
It's the timing and the legal argument. The argument that we're going to now have a federal law to regulate abortion.
When the whole
point of the Dobbs decision was to let the states deal with it.
Yes.
So thumbs down for Lindsey Graham. Political malpractice on a grand scale once again. Yeah. Whether or not he's controlled opposition, he will be called controlled opposition for a long time because of stunts like this.
Are they even going to have a vote on it? It certainly won't
I hope not. It's just a total embarrassment.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Graham and the Campaign for Life and all those people are going to say, oh, but this way we get the Democrats on the record saying that they believe in abortion after 15 weeks. Literally, these people are on the record about post-birth abortion sometimes, okay? You don't need to own the libs on a 15-week ban.
Michelle Wolf had a parade for abortions on the show. Have you seen that clip, Michelle Wolf?
No, I have not.
Get your abortions. and there's like confetti. There's the whole thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it accomplishes nothing.
It accomplishes nothing.
Yeah. So what about midterm chances? I've really been probably paying attention to polling.
Honestly, man, at this point, I have so little faith in any information or data. It's a tough nut to crack. I still give the edge to the Republicans.
At least in the House.
I do think that the one thing that will whip like white suburban women into voting Democrat is shit like this.
Yeah.
So shame on you, Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
You should know better.
So, do you want to talk about ginger side? Not my term. The term the internet coined.
Oh, not my term either. Let's just be perfectly clear about that, folks.
The story that the Little Mermaid live action trailer got 1.5 million dislikes in 2 days. Now, I got to qualify
That's actually a lot.
These numbers might not be accurate.
No, it might be botted to hell.
Well, botted, but also, like, you know how YouTube got rid of the dislikes, right?
Yeah.
So there's these Chrome extensions that
people like pull it directly from the site's API.
Well, apparently that's not how it works.
No?
Apparently it's taking data from it's kind of like torrenting, where it uses data from all of the users who have the extension installed.
Oh.
And then it multiplies that by a factor of like 9 or 10 or whatever to kind of...
So it's like a representative sample,
Exactly, yes.
But the issue is people who have that extension are probably people who are disliking a lot more videos.
That's the thing.
Bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy there.
So those numbers are kind of,
Yeah, okay.
So whenever you see
They're
reports
malleable.
of like, this got so many dislikes, kind of you can take that huge grain of salt, But I think, but if you look at the comments, the ratio, all the comments are like, making fun of it, like, I remember when fucking Will Ferrell was T'Challa in Black Panther, and he fucking, held what's his name, Killmonger as he died, or you know what I mean, making comments like that, what I mean? I'd like seeing Betty White in fucking Avengers Endgame when she, stole the Infinity Gauntlet, just memeing the shit out of the movie. And like, I guess, not to bury the lead, which has become our tagline, pretty much they cast a black actress and singer, Halle Bailey. No, Haley?
That really screwed me up for a while.
Yeah, it's Halle
because
Bailey.
It's so close to Halle Berry.
Yeah, Halle Bailey, and she's one half of the R&B duo Chloe and Bailey. Or no, Chloe and Halle. Yeah, Chloe and Halle.
Okay.
They're artists under Beyonce's Parkwood label. They're actually fantastic. I recommend, just from a music perspective, check out their work. Like, fantastic singers. Halle has an amazing voice. Like, when I saw the trailer, I saw a clip on the Shade Room Instagram, and I only saw like literally 3 seconds of the trailer, and she was doing this note singing, I forget what the song is, but she was killing it, So I just didn't think anything of it.
So she's definitely qualified to be in the music part of this movie.
But then I come back to it, and the internet is up in a storm, people downvoting and shit, you know what I mean, memeing it. There was this meme where like they replaced her with, because she's a black woman, and her head, they said her hair was going to be red, but in the clip it's so dark that you can't really tell if her hair, she has like dreads, so you can't tell if they're red or not. And they replaced her digitally with like a white girl redhead that looks more like the cartoon Ariel.
Yeah.
So that kind of threw it up put it in a storm even more. And it's like people got outraged at the fact that people pretty much, they whitewashed. So the, I guess, progressive Disney fans were up in outrage that somebody whitewashed a blackwashed Disney character who was originally white and redheaded. And this goes into the whole, if you look up ginger side on Google, this goes into a long, it's not like, people call it a conspiracy theory, I guess technically it is, but if you Google it, there is a disturbingly long list of redheads, gingers being recasted, not just with black people, but people who aren't
like
redheaded.
whites with obviously brown hair or blonde hair,
Heimdall
get
from
bad
Thor,
dye jobs
fucking
to look ginger.
Flash, fucking Mary Jane Watson from Spider-Man comics. Like, the list goes on and on and on, and there's hundreds and hundreds of fictional redheads who have been recasted with non-redheads. And it's like, I don't know, man, after seeing this Ariel trailer and the backlash and everything, and the fact that, like, even the usual suspects, despite the fact that, yeah, there is a strong kind of progressive, woke kind of backlash to the backlash, most of the internet spaces I've seen and the comments I've seen have been pretty united in, okay, Disney, enough is enough with these remakes. Because it's basically the conundrum is
well, we're getting a Black Tinkerbell, right?
Oh, really? I wouldn't be surprised.
I believe so.
It's like they're remaking this content that, you know, a lot of people, particularly at our age, have such an emotional connection to, but they're not even doing it justice. And it's not black or white. It's not even an issue of black or white. It's just pretty much remaking something that you loved as a kid, but giving you a shittier version. It's like, imagine like McDonald's made you a Big Mac, and then you go back the next day and they give you a Big Mac with one patty and there's like a cockroach in it, and they're like, yeah, this is a Big Mac.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, eat it. It's just as good, right? Nostalgia, you know? It's like, so there's just, I don't know, man.
What do you mean? It's better for the environment this way, Peter. It's
Eat
a
the
less
blood.
carbon
That's
footprint.
true.
There's a cockroach in it and you removed a beef patty.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. It really shows the downfall of Hollywood and the cultural industry in general, and for some reason they really have beef against gingers.
Well,
Like,
okay, so the ginger side thing,
I think
you
it's
actually
real bad.
red-pilled me on this. Like,
I don't know,
the
yeah.
pictures you showed me
Yes.
were unbelievable.
Yes. And it's not, I'm not saying it's like one or two characters or even a dozen or I'm talking about
there's like
hundreds of
Hundreds.
redheaded characters who have been recasted with non-redheads. Or
And it
replaced.
is a rare phenotype, so that's part of it, is
Yeah.
that it's hard to find natural redheads, and let alone natural redheads who went to acting school, who can
But
sing.
Ariel wasn't
and
even
blah,
a
blah,
natural
blah.
redhead.
Yeah, exactly.
So they could have given her a red wig,
Yeah,
but they didn't.
yeah.
So I don't, you know what I mean?
So, like, okay.
Yeah, talk about, let's do ginger side, and then we'll talk about the general. Kind of,
Okay.
what's your take on it?
Well, again, like, I'm kind of making the good faith argument, which I always feel a responsibility to do, even if I don't fully believe it, that if you were to look purely in good faith, they replace ginger characters with non-gingers because it's like 99% easier to find people. That's
true.
why, I
a lot
think.
of people don't want to dye their hair, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that, like, or you know, you can't really do freckles as well, maybe, as you can do like a wig
Even in the
or whatever.
and even in the
you can
Spider-Man,
make excuses.
in the original
for sure.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, like Christian, what's her name again? Who played Mary Jane? Not. I was gonna say Christian
It's
Stewart.
not Christian Stewart.
Fuck, I feel terrible.
Man, this was 20 years ago, man.
Fuck. Whatever her name is. I don't feel like Googling it. But you know, Mary Jane Watson from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, it will come back to me. She had red hair in the beginning, like dyed red hair in the first movie, and then by the second movie she was blonde.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
Spider,
just gave
like
up.
he already has a blonde girlfriend.
Yeah, Gwen Stacy, who
Yeah.
shows up in the third movie. Yeah. So it's like they just gave up by the second movie. And as a kid, I noticed that. I'm like, wait, wasn't her hair red? She probably just
Yeah.
got tired of doing a dye job, you know? Like, so I understand it. But your point, sorry not to interrupt.
Oh no, sorry, I've what
Kirsten
was
Dunst
I
is her
making?
name.
Oh, Kirsten Dunst, right,
Yeah.
right, yes.
But you're saying the phenotype is very...
Yeah, it's rare. So the good faith thing is, like, if you're a casting director, you need to find someone who can, like, sing, they can act, they
Yeah.
can look like a superhero or something.
Yeah.
It's hard to find someone who is also like a natural redhead with freckles and everything.
Yeah.
So part of it is just laziness,
Mhm.
but like the list is so massive
Yes.
that it does make me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And again, like, it's not just, this is not like a white replacement thing or anything. It's like a
No.
replacing redheads with
literally redheads
anyone.
specifically, yes. And yeah,
Yeah.
redheads could be of any race. Like, so yeah, it's not just limited to like white people or whatever. Like,
Malcolm X was born with red hair.
yeah, Detroit Red. So, and that's the thing. I don't think, what's his name, Denzel Washington was a redhead.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so I don't know, man.
We're not
Like,
saying that you need to get Carrot Top to play Malcolm X. But
Yeah.
anyway.
man, I don't know. It's just, there's something interesting there. I guess it might be, chalk it down to laziness. Like, I don't know if there's any real
Well, there's also
prejudice.
the argument, and this is really unfair, but because, you know, gingers, you know, the whole gingers have no soul and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and they get teased and bullied or whatever. But they're also like the whitest white people.
Mm.
So in a deconstructionist world looking to tear down white supremacist systems and institutions and practices and so on. Redheads do, unfortunately, for purely aesthetic reasons, of seem like a natural target.
Oh, yeah, and there's so few of them that, like...
Yeah, who's going to stand up for... First, they came for the redheads, and I said nothing because I was in 99% of the population. Yeah.
But now they are speaking up, and people are speaking up on their behalf. You know what I mean? So... And then also the broad Disney remake.
Can we just have one movie come out without its entire marketing strategy revolve around race baiting?
Yes.
Like just one?
Yes. Explain that. The whole marketing, the race baiting kind of marketing strategy.
So we're at a point now, it seems, where studios intentionally try to foment racist backlash against their products so that they can guilt progressives into watching, buying, paying for, subscribing to their shitty products.
Disney does it the best. They did it with Obi-Wan, with the actress who played Reva, another black actress, where they literally told her, you know, we got to warn you, there's going to be some racists. And when they got like one or two comments.
They posted those tweets. I saw that. Where it was like the Star Wars community stands by, like whatever. It's like, why are you preemptively, like, it's so weird.
And then they use that to market it to progressives, you know, to show, oh, she's so stunning and brave for standing up to these racist fanboys. When literally it's not even like a decimal of a percentage point of people, if those comments are even real. Like, you could believe that maybe some of them are Disney exec burner accounts.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, you know?
It's like the whole board staffer, rule. But anyway,
literally, they've done it with Emma. I didn't coin the term race baiting marketing, but I first noticed this phenomenon with Emma Watson and Beauty and the Beast remake, where literally they lean so hard into the whole, you know, she's a feminist kind of thing. And like she did this magazine cover where her tits were kind of not fully exposed, but like her breasts were, it was a flattering picture, but like, you know what I mean?
Oh, but don't you understand, Peter, that as a feminist, she has a right to express herself by displaying her body in any state of undress that she sees fit, and simply by commenting on it, we are reinforcing the white supremacist patriarchy.
Yeah, she was showing some cleavage, and people got outraged as expected, and then she kind of doubled down on it. Instead of being the bigger person and ignoring it, she kind of tripled down on it to like market the movie. They've been doing this since day one. You know what I mean? But no one does it better than Disney. And literally, it happens every single fucking time. I'm so exhausted.
Amazon obviously is not very good at it, given what just happened with them.
The Rings of Power, yeah. The Incredible Hulk, too, or She-Hulk. That was a whole other thing, you know? So it's like, I'm just tired of it, and I'm wondering, when will it stop? Why can't we just go back to making movies and going to that based off of the merit of the movie itself and not the woke points?
Well, because everything is part of some sort of horrid agenda at this point, one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to completely cut the political bait. So at some point, it will only be when the money and so on that comes in from, you know, DIE, social corporate governance, etc., when that no longer covers the hit to the revenue from people not wanting to see your stupid films anymore because they know it's just a dumb, rote, shitty, paint-by-numbers remake with race-baiting elements to service their advertising strategy.
I don't know when the money will stop coming in because this whole subscription model, pretty much Netflix has ruined entertainment.
Yeah, mediocrity has been subsidized.
When it becomes a subscription model versus like you paying for it, you know what I mean? Like, I just heard that the next Indiana Jones movie with Harrison Ford is going direct to Disney Plus.
Oh my God.
And that just killed whatever interest I had. I was actually excited
because I'd actually go see that in theaters and then probably never watch it again.
Yeah, but
now I'm just never going to watch it.
Exactly. Because you know if it goes direct to Disney Plus,
it's probably shit.
Same thing with direct to Netflix movies.
Like, what does Spielberg have to say about that?
Like, I like Ryan Gosling, but I didn't see whatever the fucking, you know, that action movie that he was in with Chris Evans. I forget what it's called, but they're making like a whole cinematic universe out of it now.
Oh, really?
It was number one for a few weeks. I have no idea, but you know what I mean? It's Netflix. The only good Netflix movie I saw was Bird Box, you know? Like, I don't know, man. It's just...
I don't know if I've ever seen a good Netflix movie, but there are good Netflix shows like The Crown, which I've already gone on about enough.
But pretty much the Netflixification, and Disney does this really well, where it's like they'll have a series that you could tell is supposed to be shot as a movie, but they'll kind of split it into 6 episodes to kind of keep you subscribed, and they'll drop it weekly. Even Netflix is moving to the weekly model to keep you subscribed, right? When the whole point of streaming was
binge watching it
all at once.
Yeah.
And it's like, eventually, people are going to realize this and just stop paying for it, I think. Like, Netflix is cracking down on sharing screens.
Oh my God.
It's just a mess. The golden age of television is dead.
Big time.
Declaring
no, it is
It's
dead.
been dead for a while, but
Yeah.
I'm putting a stamp on it right now. It's done. Wrap it up, man.
And I mean, there are some shows that seem to be kind of filling the like prestige HBO niche that have come around in the past few years.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say it now, but Empire, a lot of people were watching, and Succession's another show that I haven't
Expanse
seen.
is good or something like that.
My dad really liked that show, but I couldn't
one?
get past the first episode personally. Yeah, it's the space one. It's like a science fiction colonization.
The Boys is apparently really good. I've been wanting to watch that for a while.
I've heard that, but if something has anyone, like, even if it's look, this is an ironic superhero thing. It's like our ironic deconstruction of all the other superheroes.
Well, yeah, we're in that phase
At the
now.
point you're flying around and
Yeah.
wearing a cape, I don't care.
That's true. And the whole deconstruction thing, like, we went through this with Batman v Superman. The fucking what's it called? The Last Jedi literally was a deconstruction of Star Wars.
Oh my God.
Like, when you're at the point where you're deconstructing the genre is dead, right?
But the problem is, see, a deconstruction of the genre can still be cool and fun and interesting, but the problem is when you have deconstructionist socio-political baggage from everyday life that you then try to shoehorn into a really shitty movie.
That's the thing.
Like, that's when you cross the line.
And what happened to escapism?
Like, for the record, I actually love far left literary criticism. I read a ton of it. It's fun. I like engaging with that kind of stuff. I will even watch, movies with those lenses or whatever. And, obviously I don't identify in that way politically, but there is stuff there to use when you're analyzing art and whatnot. And the fact that they don't even do that and they just shoehorn in like social media BS. Like, again, it's just reflex marketing where it's just us and them mentality. It's all based on like silly dog whistles to this group and that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just whatever happened to just escapism entertainment, like the peak of, and once again, we romanticize old Hollywood, but we do it was called the golden age of cinema for a reason, because you had the big budget musicals, swords and sandals. Even the exploitation kind of films, whether it was like The Mummy, those original monster films, teen beach movies, that kind of shit. It was kind of more of an innocent time. Elvis movies, which are a genre unto themselves, where literally the movies were about escapism. The original Star Wars, escapism. Like, yes, maybe there was a bit of commentary on our world, our contemporary world, but it wasn't to the point of. It wasn't distracting. It didn't take away from the story.
Yeah.
And the world itself. You were immersed, and you could just forget about your troubles for a couple hours.
No, like the original trilogy, right? Versus the Disney trilogy.
Back in the day, people used to spend the whole day in the theater because there'd be previews, they'd show cartoons, they'd show newsreels. Like, it was an experience.
It was a social hub, a community center, and kind of. And now we just don't have that kind of relationship with theaters at all. It's like a very sanitized, like, corporate experience. You have your computer assigned seat.
Yeah.
And,
The Netflix has pretty much replaced theaters, and people use that to fall asleep. You know what I mean? Me. So it's like it's not entertainment isn't as valued as it was before.
No,
it was scarce.
There's so much competition now for people's valuable attention and time, right?
So I think YouTube will eventually replace all these streamers. And the sad thing is YouTube is basically trying to be like another streamer now.
Yeah, well, YouTube Premium.
And they give priority to like the fucking Jimmy Fallon show.
Oh my God.
Playing with the algorithms and shit. You know what I mean? So I think the corporations the big brands will continue to be shit. And then, the more niche thing will kind of take over, and eventually, like, we're already all split into our different niches. Like, I can't tell
We're all
you.
siloed off. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Mass culture and the way that everyone used to just go to the theater and watch the
It's
Ten
dead.
Commandments.
Yeah.
Like, that is over, man.
Last time that there was an inkling of that was Endgame.
Yeah, like Marvel to an extent.
Even Mission Impossible, not Mission Impossible, Top
Gun.
Top Gun was a bit of a phenomenon.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was because it was the one thing that was kind of not superhero related. You know what I mean? Like, it was a sequel, but it wasn't like a sequel in the sense of this is like some cinematic universe.
And it wasn't a sequel for the sake of being a sequel. Like, they actually did a good job with the movie, and I don't think anyone felt like it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, the first movie is still probably more iconic, more of a must-watch, just because of the era, and it's like this sexy 1980s music video, and the colors are all saturated, and, you know, it's its own look.
Mission Impossible 2 Maverick stood out.
Top Gun 2.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Mission Impossible.
Wrong Tom Cruise.
I'm excited. There's that video of him hanging off the plane. I gotta show you it. It's crazy. But anyways.
Like those guys trying to get out of Afghanistan on the last U.S. military flight.
But yeah, Top Gun 2. People loved it because it was genuine, it was escapist art, and they weren't pushing an agenda with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe it was an advertisement for the military, but like, even then, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just some fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We need to bring back fun escapist art. That is the theme of this episode, I guess.
Yeah.
And it is so dark right now, and I'm cold. So
politics is better at being politics than art is.
Exactly. You could say something with your art.
Absolutely.
But even the best political art is not obvious surface level shit.
We're not saying don't make political art, to be perfectly clear. Go ahead and continue making political art. A lot of it's kind of interesting.
It's just you're going to win over more people if you attract people with the art and then slip in some politics.
Well, and you're also compromising
you know what I mean?
the quality of your vision by limiting it to this like stupid ideologically preset worldview that, like, you know, ex-rich financiers on your side of the spectrum adhere to.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, the best songs I've ever heard are ones like Michael Jackson, just master at this. He had so many political songs that you play in the back and most people don't even think they're political, like Black and White, Stranger in Moscow. You know what I mean? They don't really care about us. But the thing is, the lyrics were universal enough where it could apply to anything. But if you read between the lines, it's more political. And people just don't do this
But it
these
was
days.
still pop music.
Yeah.
It wasn't a stump speech.
Exactly.
You know?
And that had a bigger political impact on me. Because whenever I hear they don't care about us, I know exactly what I'm talking about. And if someone sings that, someone else sings that, they could apply that to something else. You know what I mean? It just has more longevity and doesn't date it. Whereas literally Billie Eilish, I gotta Google this. She name drops Roe v. Wade in a song.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too.
Really?
Yeah, my God.
Hold
guys.
on, let me...
Okay, as I've said before, I'm nominally pro-choice, although I am sympathetic to various pro-life arguments, you might say. But I am essentially a pro-choice person. And yet, Roe v. Wade was never a good decision. Like, it really wasn't. It was a shitty legal patchwork that was a placeholder for something else, really for state individuation.
Anyway.
Anyway.
So let me read this. Now, I'm sorry if we're in the dark for a couple seconds, but I got to read this. Don't know where you are. This is from a song called TV by Billie Eilish. And just to, you know, I most of the time, 99% of the time, I really enjoy Billie Eilish. I think she's incredibly talented. So this isn't like any hate brigading or anything. I respect her as an artist. But this just took me out of the song. So the verse starts with, "Don't know where you are right now. Did you see me on TV? I'll try not to starve myself just because you're mad at me. And I'll be in denial for at least a little while. What about the plans we made? The internet's gone wild watching movie stars on trial while they're overturning Roe v. Wade." So the rhyme scheme was kind of interesting.
Did she not see how wild the internet went after they overturned Roe v. Wade, even though it was the right thing to do.
Well, she's
as
talking
I
about
say,
the
as a
Johnny Depp.
pro-choice person. Yeah, I know. She's saying the Amber Heard and
Yeah.
shit is like the spread in circuses they used to distract from
Roe
taking
v.
away
Wade.
women's
Yeah.
rights, you guys.
Yeah.
But
It was
again,
topical.
it's just
My issue is
topical. But again,
it
it
dates
betrays
the
her
song.
ignorance.
Yeah.
And I don't even mean that in a mean way. I mean, she's like a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't know a damn thing about politics or public policy. Probably
Yeah.
doesn't care. Okay, and she shouldn't care. Okay.
Well, she did sing at the Democratic National Convention in 2020.
Yeah, but she's a pop star. They're all Democrats.
Yeah,
so whatever.
okay, true. Yeah.
So unless this is just her explicitly taking a party paycheck,
Yeah.
it's just stupid and it's dated. Because again, at the end of the day, like, you're not defending abortion rights. You're defending Roe v. Wade, which was shit, and you should know better. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg knew better.
Yeah.
So I don't know why everyone is so determined to dig up Roe v. Wade when it should have been in the ground 50 years ago. But it just became so synonymous with women's rights that any attack on Roe v. Wade must be bad, even though there are plenty of pro-choice criticisms of Roe v. Wade as a decision.
It's just a current thing, right? It's the people who have Ukraine flag on their backpack with the Planned Parenthood sticker or with the fucking LGBT. You know what I mean? Like BLM fist. It's just it's pretty much activism Inc. kind of shit, I guess.
Yeah.
And it does a disservice.
But it just screams like insecurity about a lack of a personal identity.
Yeah.
That they must latch on to these external identities that are pushed onto them and direct their artistic output to fit the political conclusions of the DNC.
I'd say activism really is dead because people used to take on causes back then. Like Elizabeth Taylor, her thing was AIDS, like HIV. Because Rock Hudson, her close friend, who was this closeted gay actor, died of it. And all of a sudden people were like, damn, they just didn't know what this thing was. And Elizabeth Taylor she was responsible for at least getting the Reagan administration to acknowledge it. That's the thing. People had causes that were personal to them. And you could say, well, women's right to choose is personal to every woman. Yeah, but it's because...
Not every woman, for one. Let's make that perfectly clear.
Well, that's true. But it's just become reduced to sloganeering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is literally just sloganeering.
And if Billie Eilish could get an abortion anytime she wanted, legal or not. You know what I mean?
No problem.
So I just want people to think harder. That's my whole thing about thinking hard about what we support and at least trying to make it feel a bit more genuine. You know what I mean? Do something out of the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can't be the most important thing in your life. Abortion, really? You know what I mean?
Well, the midterms are coming up.
Is that I hate to sound very ironic and crass here,
but we must use...
Is that really a life or death situation for the overwhelming majority of people?
Look, Peter, if we don't weaponize suburban white women against MAGA Republicans, the Democrats might be a minority in the Senate.
What about putting food on the table or supporting people with disabilities or any number of things?
But that's the beauty of being wealthy and plugged in, right? Is you're insulated from all that stuff.
Yeah. Even fucking Yemen. You know what I mean? Nobody talks about Yemen.
Dude.
There's a million things we could
Nobody
be
talks about
other
Yemen.
than fucking helping wealthy six-figure white women get abortions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now I'm going off.
Well, it's in Canada. So our freaking government did this too. We invited American women to come to Canada for abortions, which I'm fine with. That's fine. I'm not even going to get into who's paying for those abortions. I'll leave that aside. Maybe the women are directly. Maybe it's somehow being picked up in the great web of OHIP or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not even going to ask questions about that right now. Let's just leave that to the side. My issue is what if you were an American woman who did not receive 2 doses of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine? You want to get an abortion in Canada. Then are you allowed in?
It's the same
so
thing.
your
If
right to come to Canada as an abortion tourist is more important than?
That's like, if you're an unvaccinated Ukrainian.
Oh, that's true.
You
Then
can
you're
come.
fine.
Yes.
Yeah, then you're fine.
If you're an unvaccinated Canadian, you can't even get on a train.
So not only do we live in a, like, I guess a 3-tiered society now, where you
Yeah.
have the gigavaxxed, you have the regular vaxxed, and you have the not so vaxxed.
Yeah.
But you also have different tiers within those tiers. So you have the unvaxxed people who are allowed to be unvaxxed, and it's
Yeah.
cool. And then you have the unvaxxed people who are not allowed to be unvaxxed, and it's not cool. And they
Yeah.
should just starve to death and stop being, a risk to public health, etc.
Yeah.
And yeah, but
We're just
anyway,
going off into
we're just
everything.
going off.
Abortion, race, vaccination.
I'm just saying, man, my body, my choice goes both ways,
Yeah.
okay? That's all. That's my point.
And like, I don't know, how about, why don't we all just touch grass? Like we are literally
Yeah,
doing
we're
right
touching
now.
grass right now.
You know
We're
what I mean?
grounding ourselves
Go
and
outside,
channeling our electrons.
Enjoy the air,
into the earth.
enjoy the fall, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Playing the leaves and shit.
yeah,
Watch a non-woke political movie, you know.
yeah.
I mean, not a political movie, just watch a movie. I'm sorry.
UK House of Cards is excellent. I've never seen US House of Cards, but once you guys have watched The Crown, you should watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's wrap this up. I guess follow us on the different things. I guess you kind of name dropped it, but like and subscribe.
At Pennant Inc. on Twitter.
Yeah.
Pennant.inc, INK, that's the website.
We appreciate you guys for,
We're on Rumble.
yeah.
I don't think I've talked about Rumble enough,
Yeah.
but we got the backup now because YouTube, not so reliable.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys for indulging our ramblings and our, it means a lot. So yeah, I guess that's just another day in the life of whatever, whatever you want to call this shit that we're experiencing. Yeah, I'm Peter.
I'm Alex.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining
Peace
us.
out. This is the Pennant Pod. Oh my god, it literally is like,
Fucking freezing, dude.
it's pitch black.
Like I'm Duncan. Better do something, boy, don't do nothing. Better do something, boy, don't do nothing. Better do something, boy, don't do nothing. Better do something, boy, don't do